everyone. Welcome to the Felicity, Optimist versus Cynic podcast with us, your hosts, Melissa and Fish. This is a Felicity rewatch podcast. We'll watch an episode each week and join you here to talk about it. Quick reminder, this is not a spoiler-free podcast. Maybe some things we talk about here that come up in future episodes in this show. And quite frankly, since we usually talk 2-3 hours, we pretty much always talk about things that have nothing to do with the episode we watched. So just wanted to make sure you all knew about that, but still a fun place to be. So join us. I am Melissa, and I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Fish. Fish, how are you doing right now?
I am doing good. We are back to our regular time and day. And so, yeah, we're ready to do this one.
We're feeling the structure. We're loving the structure.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this time we're talking about an episode that I think brought both of us much mirth along the way. This one is season 2, episode 8, called Family Affairs. Original air date, November 21st, 1999. And it was written by Andrea Newman, directed by Ken Olin. And here's the description. Felicity's parents upset her holiday plans by surprising her with a Thanksgiving visit that results in a tense dinner at Elena and Noel's. Among the dinner guests are Felicity's new beau, David, and his mother, Professor Sherman. Meanwhile, Ben agrees to work at a charity event that Maggie is catering for her husband. Okay, Fish, where do we start?
Well, we talked a little bit about how the two parties don't really interact. So I'm going to name them Party Tofurkey and Peppermint Party, and we will explain the Peppermint Party later.
Okay.
So Peppermint Party will be the Noel and Elena group, and Party Tofurkey is going to be the other, like all of the other.
Okay.
So I think we'd start with Peppermint Party, since, I don't know, that was the one that had, I think, more screen time.
Sure did.
Yeah. So
well,
I just want to give a little extra product placement here. I mean, one of the things that I used to do with my roommate in grad school, because she was a film student, was we'd watch things, and as we saw product placements, we would just yell product placement at the TV. So that happened a couple of times with the Apple computer. They've been pushing Apple hard in this whole episode, well, this whole series. And then we also had a nice, I don't know if it's really a product placement for Tofurkey. There may be multiple brands of Tofurkey. We got some Post-it notes, lots of product placement there. So, just wanted to share that fun little game that I continue to do in my head every time I see like a Diet Coke sitting around.
Okay, that sounds good. I had a different theme going here. This is an episode where everybody just drops in on Felicity unexpected.
Yeah, uncool, people.
Yeah.
All people. Uncool. Don't do this.
What was the deal here? Everybody. It's like every single person just showing up unexpected. Like, hey, you surely didn't have anything else you wanted to do. Or even if you told me you did, I'm ignoring it. And I'm going to be here anyway, just for fun.
Yeah, and it's not just the dinner. I mean, Felicity and David are starting out. She has told her parents a little white lie. She didn't want to go home, which is understandable because she has a lot of stuff that has changed that she doesn't want to talk about. And David, who I personally believe is the frozen turkey dinner of people, has decided that is that should be their Thanksgiving meal. It's a frozen turkey dinner and just chilling and good. We don't have to watch them kiss.
Frozen turkey dinner of people.
Well,
okay. That wasn't on anybody's bingo card. All right. gosh. But
A
David
Thanksgiving
also
meal.
has
Oh,
surprised her. He's just
yeah,
shown up at her dorm.
yeah. What is that?
Um, it's, that's sweet, she thinks, sort of.
Mm,
She kind of lingers on that. And, she had told her parents, like you said, her excuse was, just so busy, like so much to do, so much work. Um, and but David, comes by and he's got other thoughts. Like maybe we can come up with a plan for us for Thanksgiving. Like maybe have a non-crazy, pressure-free Thanksgiving.
hmm This is very similar to me and my ex's first Thanksgiving dinner,
Mm-hmm.
where he wanted to have turkey subs from Subway, and I wanted to have Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. I would
So
probably be okay with the subs. I'd be like,
I
who's making this
know
turkey?
I am.
Yeah, if fish is making, I'll eat it. If you're saying that I've got to make a turkey, then nobody's going to be happy. Nobody, including the person asking. So, okay, I hear what you're saying. I hear it. But this is David's new move. He realized that saying the pressure free is like Felicity's turn on, which should have been a clue, but whatever. So now they're gonna start to hook up. We're getting the sense that maybe this is, like their move now. This is maybe, I don't know. We saw that they had a first time. I don't even know that this is the second time. Like maybe they've just been hanging out. I don't know. It's hard to say. But Felicity does the agreed upon with Meghan move of putting a post-it note on the door, which Fish, you and I, we knew exactly what that meant.
Yeah, and also how ineffective it would be.
Yeah. Well, I think lots of people have systems like this. Some
Mhm.
people have like scrunchies on a doorknob. Some people have post-it notes on a door. Some people have socks on a door. This, I mean, it basically does require you to get to the door.
Yeah.
Um, and it requires the other person to heed the warning, which Meghan does not.
No, and also post-it notes fall. I mean, maybe not in
Mm,
this storm, since
that's
we,
their job normally, but I remember a post-it note from one certain Rebecca Haas.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know that this is like a Haas, I don't know, sort of,
Haas-esque.
yeah, post-it note. This felt a little flimsy, but again, Meghan is not kept out by the post-it note.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, she has actually come to help.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Which,
I,
Felicity's a little heated here, and she's given Meghan a time of it. She's digging in at her, and Meghan's like, you get a little, and then you get like this, and they're fighting.
mhm.
They're both
I
dishing
think,
it out. They're both taking it.
yeah, Meghan, it was a little weird this episode. I feel like she was both like more harsh and also helping. So I don't know. It's
I think that if you look at it, like Meghan has a nose for sport. So like if she can get enjoyment out of the sport of something related to Felicity, then she will. And I think she sensed correctly that there was some sport to be had in following Felicity's movements here in this episode. Uh, you know, I don't know if she felt compassion or not. I think she was there for amusement.
I give her a little bit more credit than that
Okay.
because she would have just walked up with her parents and let them walk into the room
Okay.
if she wanted total sport. I mean, Meghan has a very, as we have seen before and we see more in this episode, she has a very interesting relationship with parents.
Uh-huh.
I think especially her parents,
Yeah.
but I think she genuinely wanted to warn Felicity that
And,
something was
the
going to
last
happen.
time parents were involved with Felicity and Meghan, Felicity did Meghan a courtesy.
She
Um,
did.
and so maybe there's a little karma there coming back for her.
Yeah.
But Meghan finally stands up for herself. She's like, I barged in as a favor to you. And
Yeah.
Felicity's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, I was, but now I'm just going to let this things occur as they're going to, as God made them. And then Felicity's parents walk in the door. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I just wrote one word for that with an exclamation point after it.
Mhm.
Boundaries? Like,
Yeah, well, like,
what?
I
What?
mean,
No.
yeah, parents, get over yourselves. I like, don't just give her a little notice. And what they interrupt, although Felicity and David were having this conversation, or Felicity was having this conversation with David there with Meghan, his pants were still undone. So all of this
Yeah,
distracts
yeah,
him. Felicity's
yeah.
parents come in and it's like, who's this guy?
Yeah, I was laughing, so I didn't notice whether they noticed, but I did notice when he turned
Her dad
around.
was definitely giving David the look up and down, like, ooh, what's happening here? And I think, he probably started with the age. Maybe he reflected on the hair and then he kind of probably his eyes panned down. He definitely saw David for everything that he brought to the table.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we get this sort of aside from Felicity talking into a tape for Sally,
Soon it
saying,
will be over.
yeah,
Soon.
soon it will be over. Felicity says, Sally, my parents are here and I want them to go home.
Yeah, no kidding. Mm.
She's got a
I
lot of new
mean,
stuff happening in her life. She doesn't really feel
yeah.
like sharing it.
Which, I mean, makes sense, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's super awkward, and I don't know, like I understand maybe like flying a child in for Christmas or something, and surprising their parents or, something along those lines. But, your kid's away at college and you just show up as a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who possibly could think this was a good idea. So, I mean, and again, this may just reflect, I was saying this earlier, this may just reflect my own personal issues. But
And unfortunately, listeners, Fish and I have similar personal issues. So we're going to give you a skewed view on this, but I'm pretty sure for
yeah,
the average human, notice on something like this is nice, especially because, okay, it's a holiday period. And what ends up happening in this scene is Felicity's mom creates a Thanksgiving plan for Felicity and then invites David to it. And Felicity, by the way,
mhm.
who easily could have had other plans already.
And said she had other plans,
Yes.
like at first, at least.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Folks.
yeah, I am very suspicious of this. I don't know. I mean, her parents they show up out of nowhere, right? And then they're supportive. Like, I know her dad and her mom give her, some sort of jabs and stuff, but for the most part, like, not blowing a gasket, I'm, and they leave on good terms. Like, I am very suspicious about everything that happens with her parents. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like they're trying reverse psychology or something.
I think you're making really good observations here. And there's something to this.
Yeah,
Now,
it
those
just
who are
felt
familiar with the show
non-genuine.
know some of the plot points coming ahead. But I think that this is going to make a lot more sense to you why they would A, show up, B, show up like this, um, and C, how they're being with her. I think all of that will bear out in a story point not too far from now in this season. So I'm kind of glad you're suspicious in this moment. Felicity is
Okay.
not. Felicity is like
No.
kind of just, I don't know, she's letting it happen. She's not letting her parents have it for visiting her, right? But
Yeah.
she's observed, I think we as an audience might be more observant to all of this
Well,
at
she's
this
got a
moment.
lot going on.
She
So,
does.
and I love how, again, Meghan is just, you know, charming the parents and they like her. And she's like, I'm off to like help people and start a recycling program. And I'm so
Yeah.
great.
The hardest part is making sure you're really helping the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a model RA, which, we'll bring
Yeah.
in some feedback later about who's that RA. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Uh,
that's,
but I mean, Felicity and David sort of have plans. I mean, Felicity says sort of, like at least twice, maybe three times.
mhm.
Um, and her parents just they'd like to invite the two of them out,
Mhm.
and David is all about it. I mean, he is ready to go.
Yeah. He's into it. He likes the idea. And all of this is raising some concerns for Felicity that she doesn't really know quite how to articulate yet. So the next time we see her, she's going to be over at Noel and Elena's having a conversation, and you can see that we're catching this mid conversation with Elena sort of debriefing, and Felicity saying, I haven't even told my parents that I dropped pre-med, and Elena's being supportive. I feel like she's gone back to practical support of Elena not being too pushy. And if anything, she's like in self-preservation mode for this episode. Um, but we get that, and Elena's like, yeah, it makes sense. And then Noel jumps in to interrupt this conversation with hey, Ruby can't make it back.
Yeah, we haven't seen Ruby in forever. Where is she? I mean, I know in the show she was supposed to be gone for,
Three
was
weeks,
that
I
like,
think.
yeah, like 3 weeks. Like, where has she been?
Well, it's been a couple episodes at least since we've seen her. But I don't know, maybe the schedule kind of blew out around Thanksgiving. But she was supposed to make it back, it sounded like, but the lead actress in the movie pulled her patella.
Mm,
So Ruby's got to stick around on set. So maybe she was supposed to be coming back now permanently, and then they had to give time for this lead actress to quote unquote heal.
yeah, I mean, I get that Elena jumps in and is like, your patella is your kneecap. I mean, Melissa, there are
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of things that can happen with your knees and clicking and pulling and tendons and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, but usually when you say you pulled something, it's a muscle.
yeah,
Could be a tendon, I suppose. You wouldn't say I pulled my elbow. I
I,
pulled my
I might.
forearm. I don't know. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
would say that because I
But
don't know the
you
muscle by my forearm, so I would probably say exactly that.
but patella is very specific. I pulled my knee might be something that you'd say, but to give it such an anatomical term
Yeah.
as a patella, which is in fact a bone. So I understand Elena's hesitation on this.
Well,
Um,
no, it's definitely a little weird that like we just haven't seen Ruby in a while.
mhm.
And again, she's off doing her movie thing, but
Yeah.
it's just, I guess it's a little weird that they specifically call it out because like we could have had this whole episode because I've forgotten about Ruby already. So like why
Well,
call it out?
well, that may very well feed into a storyline coming up for Ruby,
Okay.
but
So this
not
whole episode
overtly.
is
I mean, I think you're noticing good
and
things to be
wait.
suspicious of here. Um, I mean, I think part of it is paying actors, budget for making the TV show, people's
Mm,
schedules, actors' schedules. All of that could have something to do with it. But when I really, knowing everything that I know, looking back on this season, the things that you're like, what's this about? I'm happy you're suspicious of them because there is actually going to be more to the story. And whether or not this specific delay is meant to have anything to do with that, I think it fits in very nicely.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
she'll be
encourage
back.
you to feel suspicious. That's what I
All right.
encourage.
Well, I guess she'll be back, or she'll make it as some huge Hollywood star. Who knows?
Could be. Could be either.
Um, but
Mm-hmm.
Elena is ready. She is ready to host Thanksgiving, and apparently for a whole bunch of people.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to make this easier on you, Felicity, plus easier on me because I don't want to have to deal with just Noel. All right. So she's like, let's just have dinner here. It'll be fine. Noel and I will co host. And Felicity's like, yeah, but oh, by the way, David's coming too. And Noel now, I mean, so many great Scott Foley moments in this episode. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, he is just like, oh, David meeting your parents, that's getting kind of serious. But from his standpoint, he's not saying it like Elena's saying it.
No.
I feel like Noel is, his back's getting up here. And he's like, ah. There's a little bit of trepidation about where this thing is headed. Uh, where Elena's there to, be supportive and help Felicity and point out how fast things are moving because she wants to protect Felicity. Noel's just like, David must die.
But Noel, I don't understand why this would be a problem because now, that's just one more thing that you and Felicity have yet to experience that she can no longer say about David, an awkward Thanksgiving dinner with your parents meeting each other.
I want to bring in a bit of feedback here for a second. Of the many different pieces of feedback that we'll probably share today from @Galinsky_/Galina, going by both names. This actually goes back to that comment about the mystery. She says Noel's comment about the mystery in the last episode was cringy. This and his drunken advance on her in season 1 definitely takes him down a notch. But the point it serves is that he puts Felicity on a pedestal, which is probably true for the entire series. And in this situation, I think it's like, I don't know if it's jealousy of David or just like, he's her, she's his Felicity, you know?
Wait, what?
Like, she's his Felicity at the end of the day, like Noel's Felicity. Like, I don't know if it's even as much about David because of David. I think David's like a nuisance. And I think this idea of putting Felicity on a pedestal, I think it's an interesting way of framing it. I think that his idea about the mystery of it all, or like Felicity being available to him, is like keeping her in this position in his mind where it's like, oh, one day it could be like this. And I think it's interesting to me that Galina also pulled in the idea of the drunken advance in season 1, which was gross, but also about like, oh, well, now you're for the taking, huh? Maybe I think that was sort of like, could you be mine? I think there may be a common element there, which might be a little bit of why we were both like, this is kind of weird. In addition to the fact that Ruby is a figure in his life still during all of this.
I mean, I feel like Felicity is a fantasy for him.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, he's getting a little gross about the way that he is verbalizing what should be an internal fantasy.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, it's a little bit like, maybe Woody Allen shouldn't have so many movies with old guys hooking up with young girls.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought.
Yeah, just keep it to yourself. I know where you need to go with that. But yeah, I mean, you can see right from the beginning that there's going to be this weird vibe with Noel and David. Now that Noel's fully aware of who David is, he's just like, eh, should David really be here? I mean, it's, kind of serious with the parents. It's like,
Yeah.
you're mine. Undertone of like, wait a minute, he shouldn't be getting this serious with you, sort of
Hmm.
thing. After all, he is a B-list person. Anyway, Noel
Yes.
doesn't know that.
No.
Nah.
So, um, then we have this lovely scene where Felicity goes out to, was it breakfast or lunch,
Mm-hmm.
with her
Epstein bar.
parents?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, at Epstein Bar.
What a great choice.
Uh-huh. And they are just grilling her. I mean, this I think is the most passive aggressive scene.
That's the thing about this scene. It was so passive aggressive, and this is the type of scene that a parent could be like, "I never said anything bad." It's like, "Oh, come
Mm.
on, come on!" I just It was just so like you could sit here and you could look at it on the face of it and you could say Felicity overreacted, got up and stormed out of this pub.
Nope,
But when
not
you
going to get that
actually
from
look at
me.
everything they said, they were extremely critical. They made a criticism of every single thing, and that is how they chose to do like what they were
Yep.
doing. You know, even if it was quiet.
Or even if it was the exact opposite of how they clearly felt. Like her mom was like, "Oh, you cut your hair. I like it."
Well, the first one was what type of establishment they were actually in.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like a bar. It's like just like a eatery, a place where we all it's a hangout. It's like maybe it's more a pub. Like,
Well, I think his point was it didn't seem conducive for his daughter's, place to study and focus.
yeah. Do you remember there was a Gilmore Girls episode where Luke goes to dinner at Emily's with Lorelai,
Oh my
and Emily
goodness.
asks him if he wants some beer. And then
Yes.
Lorelai was like, gasp,
Oh, yeah.
that is such an insult. And Luke's like, she just asked if I want beer. It's fine. And then for the rest of dinner, Emily makes it very clear that beer is an
Yes.
insult a million different ways in her dialogue.
Yes.
It's like, oh, so it was an insult.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
bar versus pub, that whole conversation reminded me of.
Yeah. And it also reminded me of several scenes in Frasier where his brother and the producer of his show, Roz, the
Mm-hmm.
two of them don't really get along.
Mm-hmm.
And his brother thinks he's so much better. Niles thinks he's so much better than Roz.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's always making these little barbs
Mm-hmm.
about like presents she gives Frasier or things like that. And it kind of comes to a head. Um, I think they're talking about, I don't know, I think it was like a belt and then a jacket and then a briefcase. And he pretty much said like something that would seem so normal if anyone else had said it.
Mm-hmm.
And she just looks at him and she says, "You're saying that it's cheap." And he's like, he just sort of gasps and he's like, and she's like, "Oh, wait, you weren't?" And he's like, "No, I was. I was just surprised that you understood."
Oh my. Yeah. Yeah. When you're on the receiving end of a comment like this, when it's like, oh, that
Yeah,
sounded nice. And actually, I'm sitting here. You just handed me a bag of poop for me to hold. Like, that's
yep,
it. That's it.
yep,
That's what the feeling is.
yep.
And anybody else listening in may or may not agree with that. But the person who said it knew what they meant, and the person on the receiving end knew what was meant. That's it. That's all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Felicity is gonna just, light that poop on fire
Mm.
and drop it back in the middle of the table.
And of the list of things that get into me, like her mom says something about her. Was it her mom who said something about her hair?
Yes.
Um, then the age of David comes up,
Yeah.
and then in a not so like again, it wasn't like David's older than you. It was just like a I wonder, like
Yeah. And
how old
maybe,
is he?
yeah, and maybe
You
you're
know,
going too fast from her
yeah,
mom,
yeah. And
Just
then
little things.
her dad gets into asking about classes that she probably would be taking if she were still, on a pre-med track, but she's not anymore. So you see her wrestling with this for, I don't know, a couple seconds.
Hmm.
You can see her thinking, like, ugh, do I run with this? Do I tell? Whatever. I'm just telling
She
him.
can't keep it inside. You
Yeah.
know she can't.
Well, and what's the point of keeping it inside, really? I mean, at what point, like,
I
she should
don't know,
have
maybe
pre-med.
not ruining Thanksgiving. Maybe wait till after Thanksgiving. Just a
Yeah.
thought.
But what is this whole thing gonna like is
Or
it's
just
just
never
like
tell
that
them.
decision of like, am I gonna sit here and not only lie myself about everything, but then, they're gonna end up having dinner with Elena, and then Elena's
Mm.
gonna have to be complicit in the lie. Like this thing is just gonna blow out of proportion, and she just
Well,
decides in that moment. Ugh.
to do it, but like I was worried that her father was going to cut her off again. So, like if that's what he was going to do, I'd be like, yeah, why? Like get that tuition money and then,
Mm,
you
it's a
know.
good point. It's a good point. Well, I don't know if she considered that or if she felt comfortable enough that that wasn't going to be the outcome, but it was just like this has just got to stop this meal conversation we're having here. And she at one point says like there are a lot of things about me you guys don't know. I was like what, sweetie? It's like I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell you because you keep raining on every parade I have. Stop it.
Well, I also had a question. I mean, they've already pretty much dragged her for everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that they don't know?
I
Is it
mean,
just that she's had sex, and which they pretty much figured because, David had his fly down? Like,
I don't know. I mean, there's been other things that have been happening, like how things went with Ben, and there's all kinds of stuff that she's been experiencing so far this semester. Um,
just
and
didn't seem like anything sort of groundbreaking besides the
but
pre-med.
ground, I think that in situations like this, if you feel like you need to stay in a safe zone in a conversation, anything could have been inside that. Like it's not for us really to decide what things were of great gravity or not to share with her parents. She probably was keeping her phone conversations limited to a certain subset of things she was happy to talk about. She kept everything else outside of that. And that could have been anything that she didn't feel comfortable to raise with them, even if even if it would seem like, oh, that's not that big a deal to you or me. I think that that's the thing about relationships like this, or any relationships where there's a shorthand, oh, I know what you mean by this. There's like, you learn over time, like, that there are certain things that have a meaning beyond themselves. And who knows how many things she put into that category.
Yeah. Well, she's not going to share more.
Mm.
That's for certain. And she is going to leave them sitting there alone with the flaming dog poop because she's sick of being judged
Yeah.
by her parents. She's sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
She's leaving,
Yeah. I
which I
like that
think is
she
the
used
right
those
call.
words. Yeah. It was like, judgment stops here.
Yeah. She just calls him out for it. She's not going to hear excuses. And she's just like, nope, I'm out. I say, bravo.
Yeah, I do
Bravo,
too,
Felicity.
actually. And then, she walks into the dorm where she
Yeah.
catches Meghan organizing a dinner for the advisees who are sticking around for the holiday. It's part of her community service hours. Don't ask.
Oh, I'm loving Megan so much in this episode.
Yeah, there are some really short, you have to like, you blink, you miss some moments with this little storyline they gave us that I
Yeah.
think are genius. They gave me exactly as much as I needed. Um, Oh, but she's a little miffed because David dropped by again.
Yeah,
He is in the room.
again. He's in the room with the post-it notes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with the post-it notes.
Yeah.
This time it's blue. Just saying they have multiple colors.
Okay.
Product placement.
Well, sometimes you need that. And, you know, this is where Felicity is kind of going into the next layer. Well, first of all, she's coming off of a really not fun conversation with her parents, but she's also, she started to unpack things a little bit with Elena. Her ears are a little more perked up in these conversations with David. She's listening more for some clues about where she is with David right now. And she's kind of hoping David's going to be a little freaked out about this
Yep.
dinner with the parents situation.
And she is sadly disappointed. Not only does David want to meet them, he wants his mom to meet them.
The Professor Sherman.
Yeah, Annie, as we soon learn from, I guess, Noel figuring out that he can call her Annie when he's had a bit to drink.
Yeah, and when she's at his apartment.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, so David is not only not freaked out, he takes it and he ups the ante or the
Which he
Annie, if you
does.
will.
I heard that.
Uh-huh.
I feel like
groaning laughter turned into real laughter, folks. That's how we did it.
I know.
That's what happened.
That's perfect. And he does this several times. It's like Felicity keeps saying, "Hey, try to feel like me. Let me throw something at you." And he's just like, "I got it." Like making a hoop. Done.
And I have to say that it seems to me a little bit weird for David. I mean, I don't know. Fish, what's your impression of this? It has seemed to me up until this point, except for the first blind date dinner that went so horribly wrong because David was sabotaging it. After that, when he started to actually pay attention to what was happening in the relationship, I feel like he was fairly good at picking up signals. And how we get even this far into the episode, and he hasn't really been like, are you like your parents dropped in? Like he just hasn't, there's a certain gravity to all this that he's like almost he's welcoming for himself and seems to be oblivious to how it's impacting Felicity. And that just doesn't really strike me as how he's been handling things to this point.
Well, I don't know. It's he is very, mature. He's been in long-term relationships. He may be a little desperate to get back there. I mean, they've been dating 1 month.
Yeah.
4 weeks. They don't live together. And I think he is kind of being willfully oblivious.
Like
because
wishful thinking it into existence.
He wants this.
Yeah.
He really wants this. And, he could pick up on the cues if he wanted to, but it's going to take something to knock him over the head for him to kind of
maybe it's
out of it.
Almost like if I don't give Felicity an opportunity to stop this, then maybe I can interpret that she wants it.
I don't think he's thinking that much about it. I mean, I honestly think he's like pushing it away. I mean, he might have little bits of doubt coming in here and there, and he's just like willfully ignorant. He does not want to know. Because I think given his situation and given who he is, if he wanted to know, he'd sit down and have a conversation with her. And so I think it's just, sad, but he just doesn't want to know that they're not in the same place. And frankly, I find it hard to believe after a month that he is so invested in her. I think he's speeding it along, or yeah, he's definitely speeding it along. This was going to hit some sort of barrier soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's using the holidays to do this, and sort of the fact that everybody's showing up. And I have made this mistake with a guy I was dating for about a month, and brought him to like holidays and introduced him to not my parents, but like my brother and his wife and stuff. And then right after it, he said he loved me, and I broke up with him. So, because I mean, once you ring this bell, it's you can't unring it.
Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, as they say.
Exactly.
I like that image. I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
Toothpaste can't go back in the tube.
It can't.
How would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible.
I don't think so either.
No.
Well, so now we get to the next scene with Felicity, which Felicity's mom stops by Dean and DeLuca. And I just want to say, although this scene is really fun, she has got to be like the most unreliable everything other than like everybody shows up at Dean and DeLuca when she's working. Everybody shows up at the dorm when she's an RA. Everybody, it's like does anybody care about her accountability?
Yeah.
She is completely out of control of her life right now.
Well, but only because she is letting that happen to herself. I mean, you got to take accountability for that.
It's true. When you aren't changing, you're choosing.
Yeah. And she is still young, and these are her parents.
Mm-hmm.
But I also find it very odd, and Felicity points this out. Why is her mom stopping by? Like, just her mom.
Yeah.
So, especially if her dad isn't mad, as we find out later.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? So, because I can understand this if, I mean, she comes by to say sorry for criticizing, she's trying to I could see it if she was trying to smooth things over for her dad. But like,
okay, there's so many times when I bite my tongue on spoilers, but I'm going to just gently say that we in season 2 will deal with the fact that Felicity's parents are having some trouble in their marriage. So having said that in this moment, and I'm trying not to like share like all the, the twists and turns that might take, but if you know that, and I said, it's fair for you to be suspicious because it may or may not really be about Felicity here. I mean, I think they maybe want the distraction of it all. Maybe they feel like they can be on their best behavior around Felicity. Maybe they feel like she brings out the best in them. And I think this is more about them than it is about them visiting her. And maybe there's like we needed you to come home for Thanksgiving, Felicity, sort of thing that might be happening behind the scenes where they're like,
makes sense.
If you're not coming here, we're going there. That's it.
Okay.
So
that does make a lot more sense.
But this is why I love what you've picked up on so far. It's like, what are they doing here? And also, it's worth saying we haven't seen them in a long time. We have not seen these humans in this show for so long. And they drop them in here. And I think there's context for it being a holiday episode. And I think that makes it fun and layered and interesting for us as a viewer. But it is a little random when we haven't seen them in a while. But they're also setting up, perking our ears up for like, some strange things happening here. And we're going to see more context to this as the season goes on. And I think they do some really fine work, some really interesting things around unpacking the dynamic of this family unit. And this stuff that you're like, why is this happening here? let's just reframe it and say them visiting has they need her. Like they were not okay with her not coming home for Thanksgiving, not because they were angry with her, but because it's like we were sort of desperate for this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe that has something to do with why they're so quick to like smooth over fights. It might
Yeah.
be
I
why
mean,
her mom's coming to her separately.
I think now that you've said it, I think exactly the feeling I had from both of them is that they were on their best behavior.
Yeah.
That is exactly what it felt like, and it was weird. Um, but I guess that does make more sense. I mean, obviously they're lying to her since I mean, well, actually, I don't know how bad it is, but they definitely got into a cab together. And it
Mm-hmm.
seems like if her mom's coming to her separately, I don't know if they're like sharing a room still or what, but she's definitely talking to her dad because her mom knows that her dad, well, actually, he doesn't know. Felicity asks about how her dad feels about pre-med, and her mom says, I think you should talk to your dad
Hmm.
instead of knowing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and that's why I dropped this little tidbit here because I think it does put this episode into some interesting new context where otherwise you would have just been saying they're being weird. They are.
They definitely were being weird.
Hmm. And there's stuff
But
that
this does make sense.
probably would have been a bigger deal longer term. Yeah, they have this awkward conversation at Epstein Bar where Felicity gets up and walks out, but think about what that means in this context.
Yeah,
They
now
cannot
they're
have her walk out.
Yeah.
That's
So
not a
now they
thing they can do.
really have to be on their best behavior.
Yeah, like she set a boundary and they were like, well, that's not what this trip was and we got to get in line here because whatever we needed this to be, Felicity walking out of Epstein Bar is not it, you
Yeah.
know. So I think, and it does put them, they kind of buckle up to get on their best behavior after that. And it's why they're so aggressive about inserting themselves in her plans. And
Mhm.
we don't know, well, certainly the audience at this point doesn't know anything, but on a rewatch you do. And it's like there must be something going on now for things to evolve later in this season. And we don't know exactly what the dynamic is of them. Like you said, are they staying in the same place? I don't know. We'll never know. But I think when you know that they're putting on a brave front and they're relying on Felicity here to sort of help them find the dynamic around the holidays that they wanted to have, um you kind of start to see this in a different light.
Well, this makes me a little worried for Felicity because her mom seems to be the softening influence, and her dad seems to be a major dick. So
Mm.
if
This
it
season
doesn't,
is going to get really interesting to
yeah, I was
discuss,
about
I
to
think.
say, like if it doesn't work out, like she could be in big trouble if, well, although they are married in California, which is like she'd get half.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's fine. But taking a step back from all of this new information,
Mm-hmm.
um, we have a lovely Javier moment. It is very emotional for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Felicity's mom has dropped by and she's basically like Lady Gaga plus Beyonce plus I don't know, every social influencer
Madonna.
plus yeah. Um gosh. Uh Javier freaks out.
Oh yeah.
This is
He's
really well paired too, because Eve Gordon is playing Barbara as like she's calm and collected and sort of unreactive as a rule.
yeah.
And then
I
there's
get used
Javier.
to.
It's like, wow.
He just kind of explodes all over her, and she's
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, you're Javier. Got it. Yep, this makes sense."
No, but the way you're Felicity's mother. Oh, at last we meet. He gives her this big hug, and she's like, "Oh, he's touching me," and it's like,
Oh,
this
his
is so
face.
emotional for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. He makes it very clear because his face is wonderful and he's like starts tearing up and like he recognizes at like the point just before the tears are about to fall that she is having no reaction
And then, like, after all
whatsoever.
this, he has to be like, "I'm Javier, the manager."
Yeah. At which
He's just
point
like,
she's like,
"Yeah."
yeah, got
And it's just
that.
plain hard to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Hmm.
is
I've heard about you.
yeah. I read between the lines here. This was another one upvoted by Galena. I love Javier's comedic moments in it over the table, and him meeting Felicity's
Oh
mom
yeah.
is priceless. This is such an emotional moment for
To
me
me or for me.
because she has no reaction. She's
No.
not like, "I agree. It is for me too. Likewise,
Yeah.
sir." She's just standing there mystified by this man.
Yeah.
He's just a force of nature.
Yep.
Oh my
It's amazing.
goodness. That was beautiful. But,
And one
Javier
thing
finally goes away, and, Felicity's mom had some business to conduct here.
she did. Yep.
Starts with an apology.
Hmm.
You know what? I shouldn't have implied you were moving too fast. It's just, you're right. Like, she swallowed like a whole paragraph of words there that she meant to say, and she was thinking, and she's like, must smooth this over.
Yep. And she's just gonna, probably inadvertently up the stakes for Felicity at this point. Um, because apparently it's not about Felicity. And she's got a present for her, 1-month-old boyfriend. And it's a book of photos since he's into photography, which I found very interesting that Felicity thought dating a photographer was going to be this huge deal with her dad. Not the fact that he's a 25-year-old grad student, but he's a photographer.
Yeah.
Like, that says a lot about your dad.
Mm. Yeah, well, probably all of it's an issue. Let's face it. Let's be honest. But yeah, so Felicity's mom gives this gift for Felicity to bring to David. And that's when the pre-med stuff comes up, and you're right. Barbara's like, you should talk to your dad.
She doesn't know. All right.
The way it reads is like, maybe it's not so bad as you think, but on the other hand, it's like maybe she actually has no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what I thought it was the first time. Was it's probably not so bad.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking differently.
Yeah. But you know who is flipping out?
No.
Professor Sherman is coming to my apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Teachers belong in school, not in my house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does not want the two to meet. He doesn't know. Like, he hasn't even gotten his midterm back. I mean, this is just not okay. And I really enjoyed, Elena was like, can you just go pick this stuff up? I'm the co-host. And I loved his little snarky moment there. He's like, yeah, I'll go pick things up. I'm the co-host.
Scott Foley in this episode, because they've basically given him no sober moments of substance, like of his own story in this episode. And they just like asked him to commit all the way to being snarky, being completely like at a level of irrationality about things that was not necessary in life. He's just panicking over everything. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's like it's coming out as these little passive aggressive moments. Sometimes it's funny passive aggressive moments, but it's all coming from a place of just like he's hit the panic button and he's on the fritz for the whole episode. He's a very not useful co-host here.
He's not. He's making things worse, and he's like you could say he's definitely got some anxiety, but I almost feel like I don't know, Meghan snuck in the middle of the night and like lightly dusted his bed with
Yeah.
beets, the beet powder.
That would be a great way to explain him in
Yeah,
this episode. He is. It's like a light, it's just a light dusting though.
yeah.
He's not talking really fast, but he's just operating at a different level. Oh, it's so great. Well, he makes himself scarce, and now Elena can ask the big question. How's David?
Hmm.
Felicity just sighs and leans back. Elena's like, whoa, uh-oh. Apparently, David
Yeah,
keeps stopping by, she says.
yeah. I mean, Elena in this scene, she's really intuitive.
Yeah.
I mean, Felicity doesn't give her that much to go off of, and she immediately gets to what's the problem, and then is David more serious than you?
And I believe that Elena would be this intuitive about somebody else's relationship. I think that she may not be about her own.
Yeah, I was going to say that's very telling the way you said that.
Well, I mean, think about everything we've seen from her in her own relationship so far, but I actually think that looking at other people's relationships and knowing what's happening is kind of her wheelhouse. So I do think that there are these moments where she knows kind of precisely the thing to do. She was just really pushy in the last episode, right? But I think that this is something that I would think she would do, where she kind of understands all the subtext from Felicity's sigh and lean back. And she's like, all right, well, do you think he's getting more serious? You know, he should be freaked out,
Yeah, like
just
you
like
are.
you are about these parents. Oh, and her mom got him a gift. Oh, that'll definitely freak him out.
Yeah, and Felicity says, yeah, it's not that serious. And
Yeah.
I think we're all starting to get the same sense here, where something is going to come to a head.
Something is probably going to come to a head. And in the meantime, so the next step, she is going to sort of test this out. And Felicity is talking to David now. And he likes her parents. I mean, how could I not like your parents? They're part of you. Person I'm falling in love with.
Oh,
I mean, I might have skipped a step here because she kind of tries to give him an out. She's like, look, it would be fine if you're not okay. Like, if you're like, hey, this is a lot. If it's okay if it's a lot for you, just say it. He's like, no, it's
well,
fine.
she tries before he says that. Um, she does give him the present,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, he initially has the right reaction, which is kind of, oh, at which she interprets probably as this is a good sign. And then it all gets flipped around because it's really, oh, I got them something too. It's
Yeah.
also a book. Look at this. Oh, David, no.
Book of New York.
You've been dating 1 month. 1 month.
Yeah.
Don't exchange gifts with
And
family members.
who exchanges gifts for Thanksgiving?
Nobody.
This isn't a thing.
No. I mean, you might bring food or like maybe a gourd, but like it's already Thanksgiving, so there's no reason to be continuing to decorate. Maybe a candle. Um, I don't know. I would guess like
They're not even the host, though.
yeah, if they're the host are the people who should be getting the stuff. You don't just randomly give another person something.
Yeah.
It's weird.
What is going on with etiquette here? It's just a mess. Oh boy. Well, now this is the problem. Like this is a confirmed red flag. So now we see A really fun scene of Elena and Felicity at the store picking up some stuff for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And my main note here is love question exclamation point question mark. The whole conversation is like, wait. The word love came up here.
I know. Too soon.
And Elena,
Too soon.
again, being the supportive friend, she's like, this is too much, this guy.
And this goes back to our question, like our conversation about playing games, right? Because if he is in love with her and he's honest about it,
Hmm.
he might be ending the relationship.
And is
And
that bad?
so, yeah, I mean, as
He's
I
going to get
said,
hurt if he stays in a relationship with her, feeling in love with her and hoping she feels the same way about him, but she doesn't.
well, but I also think a month is way too soon. She, he's a B-list person, whatever, but, you know, in general, if you are saying I love you, like in multiple relationships after a
Mm-hmm.
month, like, I don't know.
But maybe, I mean, first of all, we're not getting this from David's perspective, right? So we know that he's been through a pretty traumatic end of his previous relationship, but he's also older. He was getting serious he was getting really serious with that girlfriend, and maybe he was ready to take that kind of step with her. And
Mhm.
maybe that means he can imagine taking it with somebody that he feels strongly for. And I think if that's where he is, he probably wants somebody who's going to feel that way back. He wants the safety of the relationship where both people feel as strongly as he does, not
Which is
another relationship where he's invested and the other person's like about to go hook up with your best friend. Um,
which is fair, but I think it is unrealistic to have the expectation that just about anyone is going to say I love you after what, having sex once and like quote dating for a month. I mean, we don't even know how many times they've been out.
yeah.
Like what?
Well, we don't know how many
Four,
times they had sex
five?
either, but I mean, it's been a short amount of time
It has been a
overall.
very short amount of time. And so it's like maybe they've seen each other all right, let's put it at a high end, like 10 to 12 times in a month. And now you're in love with them? I mean,
Yeah. But do I agree with the idea that he should play a game here and not I mean, I don't know. I think that we know from how he was in the first time we met, well, not the first time we met him, but we know from how he was in that first episode towards the end of it, where he was really unpacking for Felicity, like the way he's gotten hurt. Um, he said in the Epstein bar scene where Ruby walks out because Noel said Felicity's name while he was kissing her, and then David has his understanding of what's going on at the table, and he's like, that's what I was worried about with a relationship like this that I'm just not ready to trust yet. David's feeling these feelings, and for him, it's not safe for him not to put them out there. It seems like. So I don't know that I would advise him to hide how he's feeling because it's not going to make Felicity feel differently sooner. It's just like she may never want to be in a serious relationship with David ever. She called him a B-list person. He agreed to being a B-list person, and now he's feeling stronger.
I
And
don't
him
know.
prolonging this dynamic isn't necessarily healthy for him because she may never come around.
Maybe not, but give it more than a month. I mean, think about
Mm.
their whole relationship. He's saying for a good part of it, he was like a foot and a half out the door.
Yeah.
And now he's in love with her?
Well,
I mean,
I do think that um, the sequence of events that happens in this episode probably escalates the fact that he did verbalize it. Like, a lot of really serious stuff is unfolding here, and Felicity isn't stopping it. But it's not because she wants it happening, it's because she doesn't know how to stop it and doesn't feel comfortable stopping it. She feels it's like the lesser of two evils to just let this thing play out. than to try to stop it. For him, maybe he's seeing that as encouragement or hope, or that she's okay with a dinner with both parents at the table.
Exchanging gifts.
Yeah, like not stopping it may be a sign of hope for him that is wishful thinking or just is hope. And so, do I think that he would have said the word love had all that stuff not been happening in this episode? Probably not. I think that there are quite a few catalysts here that are building momentum into what's going to be a really awkward dinner. But if he feels it, how long does he sit in this one-sided relationship?
More than like a week and a half,
Yeah.
which is pretty much how long he's probably quote unquote loved her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, I just don't believe that that's a real genuine emotional reaction. And then to throw that into the relationship on top of all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like, take a step back, maybe think about why you're having this reaction.
Well, sure.
It's also on Felicity for not, being more honest about, why she was giving him the gift and just being more straightforward there. But
yeah,
she's also not in the vulnerable
until
position.
That point, I don't know that I feel like there was much she could have. I think her inability to set a limit in a clear way with her parents that's her issue, but it also may be giving David the wrong impression. Mm-hmm. So I do think I think that might be where she could have gone differently. I just don't know how, because where she is right now in her own personal development, she's not able to really do that, which is why this is a problem to begin with. But I think regardless of whether it's right or wrong, he's feeling love. She's not. And she's at the store with Elena unpacking this. And now she's saying, I misled him. I'm a horrible, callous person. I'm the Ben of this situation. And I know that you asked to pause there because you were unpacking that a little bit for yourself. So what did you come up with?
Well, so there's a little, I think maybe miscommunication between the two of them, because Felicity says that she likes David, but she's not in love with him. I thought it was casual. And David did say, we don't have to have sex. I just want to, get to know you. But it seemed like that was very specific to sex, not the whole relationship and feelings. And now they've had sex. So, I get her making the connection to, look, Ben wanted to keep it casual. And I was the one who said, that's fine. We can totally keep it casual. And then that was not true at all. And now she's the person saying, I want to keep it casual. And David is clearly way more into her. And again, I can get her making that connection, and I applaud her for some, what's the word I'm looking for? Like self-knowledge, self-awareness. But again, different situations.
It is a different situation.
Ben so long.
Yeah, I think to get to that parallel, you have to completely ignore everything that happened before college and in season 1, right? Where it's like, we've known each other for a longer time. I moved to New York because I was interested in, seeing where it would go with him. We had this like friendship, maybe more, maybe not, maybe definitely not. And then like we had, this whole wooing process before we got to whatever that short bit of a relationship looked like, where Ben was wanting to keep it more casual. Okay. Like the 2 episodes of the beginning of season 2, kind of the only thing she's remembering in order to make that parallel. But I think you're right. There's been so many times in this series where you've said like, she's just so self-focused. And I think in this situation, she's like, oh my goodness. Like she's seeing the reversal. She knows what it feels like to be on the receiving end of that.
It's called empathy.
Yeah. She
And
doesn't want that to happen to David.
well, but this is so funny. She's like, she's kind of, she's making the mental connection. And then she makes the reaction all about her. It's
Yeah.
not, oh, I feel so bad for David. It's, I'm a horrible, callous person. I'm like,
Yeah.
uh, all right. I mean,
Yeah.
one step forward. Hey, I'll take
Yeah.
it.
We're starting. We're starting with it. But then I just love this part where she's like, oh, I gotta fix this, gotta talk to him. Leah's like, but you're not talking to him tonight, right? Not when I'm hosting dinner for you, David, your parents, and his mother at my apartment. Correct?
Right?
Leah's like, no,
Right?
no, I'm not gonna, not tonight. Leah's like, yeah.
This is a moment Elena is willfully ignorant of all of Felicity's past history of being unable to,
No, I think she's very aware of Felicity's past history of like bringing things up at the worst time. And so that she's like, pinky swear. She doesn't know that a pinky swear is not strong enough.
It's not that. Nothing is. Nothing is strong enough. Not even Professor Sherman's, what was it? Yeah, the Polish vodka plus sherry plus, what was that? There was one other thing. Oh, it sounds deadly.
Yeah.
Deadly.
Well, okay. So we've set this up where we know Elena has gotten Felicity to pinky swear or basically otherwise agree that she's not going to bring it up tonight, to which we all know it's coming up tonight. Absolutely. And now we are transported to Elena and Noel's apartment where Noel is prepping. And we see on the mantle a framed peppermint, a giant framed peppermint. Among all the other Thanksgiving decorations, there's that.
That is Melissa's interpretation.
Yes, that's my interpretation.
She just wanted to get out there first, which is fine. I think this whatever this is kind of like an optical illusion because she saw peppermint first, like a 2D picture of a peppermint. I saw
peppermint only.
And the first thing I saw was sort of like a, I don't know, like a crocheted red circle. This is on the mantle all the way to the right.
You can't miss it. It's a giant red peppermint that's
But I saw it as like a 3D piece of fabric that was kind of framed, and it's sort of wrinkled around. And then I could also see her version of the peppermint as a 2D object, and I could go back and forth. So it's sort of like an optical illusion. Please weigh in here. Anyone who does not see a peppermint at any point or can see both, please assure Melissa that I'm not insane. And while I agree it could look like a peppermint, it also could be some fabric.
Well, okay. So at one point I zoomed in on it so we could both see it zoomed in. And you saw some version of what you saw was a solid red circle with a white border in a frame of some
but
sort.
It's wrinkled. Where you see the red pieces, that's where I see the 3D wrinkles.
So what I saw was like a pizza cut into a lot more than 8 slices where they alternated white and red.
Right. And I could see that too if I think of it as 2D. I can go back and forth. Again, like the what they call like the ugly lady with the big nose, or the really pretty lady who's looking away with the feather in her cap and the sort of choker across her neck. Like you can see both in the same picture. That's what I saw. You can see two different ways.
Sometimes 2D I'm able to 3D. See stuff like that, but I saw this only as a giant framed peppermint.
And the
And I
reason,
will fight anybody.
yeah, you're gonna have to fight me too.
Well, this is like one of the like top two biggest fights we've ever had.
It is, honestly.
We were really,
I mean, we're not starting on the other one. Don't even. It's too long. But this is yes, definitely our top
you know, I
two.
want to.
I know you want to. Don't do it. We need to keep the audience focused on this one.
Yes.
So anyone who doesn't only see a peppermint, please write in because she will not believe me if she can't see it. So yeah, this is literally in live time. You were hearing us have our second biggest fight ever.
This is it.
Yep.
This is how it goes with us. It's weird. I know.
It is.
That's
But
how
it
it
is
works.
also a fight. We are very entrenched in our positions.
And I want you to really reflect on this, listeners, because we disagree on almost everything on a regular basis, right?
Yeah.
But when we qualify it as a fight, that's serious.
Yeah.
And this peppermint.
Yeah, I really didn't
edge.
think she was going to feel so strongly about it,
Gosh.
but surprisingly, we are both utterly convinced that we are right.
I'm dying on this hill.
Yeah.
Listeners, we really do want your feedback.
Yeah.
At themelissafish@gmail.com. Melissa with one L, two S's. Themelissafish@gmail.com. Confirm for me that it's a peppermint, huge, framed.
Or Instagram. And Melissa, I am sure, is going to put this picture up on Instagram and ask you peppermint or not. And remember at that time when she says, is this a giant peppermint? There is another answer because she's going to try to trick you into saying yes by her wording.
I don't need to trick anybody. It's a picture of a giant peppermint.
Then word it in a way that doesn't just talk about the peppermint. I'm telling you, we're having a real fight right now.
Okay, we'll move on because I'm sure not everybody wants the World War peppermint situation. Gosh.
I will just say quickly, Professor Sherman has a fantastic coat on. This is a coat that I can get behind.
Well, yeah, so Noel's prepping, and first person who shows up is he's alone in the apartment. Felicity and Elena are still out getting some food, and nobody seems to be cooking anything, which is concerning, but whatever. They're magically going to have food for this thing. And Professor Sherman shows up first. So Noel awkwardly has to greet Professor Sherman. He's alone with his professor in his apartment, which doesn't feel great. Mm-mm. She needs to use the loo.
Yep. As in the bathroom.
Yep. And Noel is just like flabbergasted by the whole thing.
I know. I mean, a professor like has to go to the bathroom? Like what? She's like a person.
Yeah.
Odd.
Then so he lets her in to use the loo, and then Felicity's mom and dad show up, and he's still just the only one there to break the ice. Awkward.
Yeah, I mean, as normally happens, Noel is having these various conversations holding stuff.
I didn't even notice that.
Thankfully, this time he does not drop it since there were 5 bottles of, I'm assuming, wine in there.
Oh.
So yeah.
To be fair, I would be incredibly uncomfortable having if I were in his position, I'd be like, somebody show up to make this easier. That would be hard for me too. Gosh. And it's his professor, but it's like all the parents involved in Felicity's relationship. It's just weird. It's just a weird thing for Noel.
Yeah, it's nothing related to him. I mean,
yeah. It's like if it's gonna be this awkward, at least have this involve you somehow, Yeah. It's just weird. So next time we see them though, Annie and Barbara have really and Felicity's dad, what's his name? Can't remember.
In the script, he is called Dr. Porter, whereas Felicity's
Edward
mother is
Porter, I
called
think.
Mrs. Porter.
I think his name might be Edward.
Edward. He does not look like an Edward.
So he's not really. That's the good news. So they figured out how to entertain themselves. Annie's making the booze. She's putting together the liquor concoction with all the different bottles that she's brought. And Felicity's parents are just watching in amazement. They're stunned.
Yeah, well, Felicity's parents have, they've really invited someone that they like, someone they enjoy being around, who's really great with parents.
Meghan!
Yay!
That's exactly who we all needed to see at this dinner. This dinner was just up-leveled by the we'll get there, but she does so many things, but it's really memorable to me. We were not there yet, but the scene with like Noel and Meghan on the couch commenting about everything, it reminded me of like the Muppets, those two guys, the old guys in the theater.
Oh, yes.
Who'd always comment on everything.
Play the Marleys in A Christmas Carol, Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, they so reminded me of that. And that to me is like maybe the most memorable part of this, even though there are a lot of memorable parts of this episode. That image and thinking of them like those Muppets is like my favorite part. But we'll get there in a moment. Felicity.
But at least she's here now.
Yeah, she's here. And she knows it's going to be a train wreck, and she's loving it. She's ready.
Absolutely. Huge
and
train
so,
wreck.
Do you think that Meghan, because we saw Meghan be a little miffed that David was back in the dorm the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she's picked up that Felicity is also not into it?
No.
Okay.
Because I think if she had, she would have said something.
Yeah.
Cutting.
Yeah, maybe. Well, so now Felicity comes back from the store. Professor Sherman greets her. David is so happy. Gosh, so glad he's with you. David is the happiest. I knew it would be like this. Oh boy.
Yeah, she puts a little pressure on it. Just a little.
Yeah, I think
and we know how Felicity dealt with pressure.
Yeah, I think at one point in this episode, you started being like, under pressure.
I did. I started saying
I think that was appropriate. That would have been a good song choice for this.
Yeah.
But now we get to the part where Noel and Meghan Noel has definitely been drinking.
A little bit.
And
I mean, this concoction, what did we say? It was, I still don't remember the third.
I don't remember either.
It's vodka, sherry, and something. I don't know. But it is proving to be too much for Noel.
It is potent, overly potent. And Meghan seems to be in total control of herself because she wants to be fully aware of everything that's happening here. She's here for the sport of it.
She wants to know when they're going to fight.
Mm-hmm. When is somebody going to fight here? Everybody seems to be getting along. Come on.
Mm-hmm. But Meghan, although she is not drinking very much, she has still forgotten something.
This is like, whatever happened to the dinner at the dorm? And
Berkey
then we get this cut. We haven't seen Berkey.
Perfect.
In, I don't know, 4 episodes. It's been a long time. It's been a hot minute since we've seen him. And we just see 3 advisees sitting around a table. Berkey in the middle facing us. Berkey slams down his knife and fork and he's like, I'm starving. The quickest cutaway.
That's it.
Yeah.
So good.
But and then that look that it's like, what was it, like Mr. Rogers, the Land of Make Believe? It was like the Felicity's like, whatever happened to that dinner? And you see Meghan go, and she kind of looks off into the distance. We get the cutaway, and then it comes back to her face.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's like, was it really happening, or was it all a dream? Was it all in her head? No, it was real. It was real.
It was real. And apparently she didn't even order anything, much less show up.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh man. But you know who does show up now? David.
David. Yeah. And you
Felicity
know how we
greets him
know
at the
that?
door. How do we know?
Noel screams, David's here.
Yeah. To interrupt Felicity and David from kissing at the door.
It was so perfect.
He's like, I brought stuff. I brought this. I brought that. And then, she's just, they're going to do their obligatory greet each other, hello, kiss. And Noel just shouts, David's here. And then as Felicity starts walking away, bringing the stuff to the kitchen that David had brought, Noel wants to make David as comfortable as possible. He's like, David, sit down, relax. Your mom's here. He's so.
Oh, poor David. You have to feel for David here. I mean, he's got his mother there who set him up with this girl after he had his heart broken. He's at a crisis with the pumpkin pie and had to go out and buy one.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up, and this drunken asshole who is like hosting the party is like
just hazing him.
screaming his name, like pointing out that he's there with his mom. And Annie's got to talk to Felicity, who clearly feels uncomfortable. He's like, I didn't mean to overwhelm you, but I am.
While he's got heckle number one and heckler number two on the couch, just sitting there watching, ready to heckle.
I mean, they needed some popcorn, but besides that.
Yeah. But you're right. David just sort of pulls Felicity into a room. He's like, look, I didn't mean to overwhelm you. Or at least that's where the conversation goes. He's like, we could talk later. But I just wanted to sort of open up that can of worms now and then let you simmer on that for dinner. We'll talk about it later. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure you were thinking about it now. Gosh, David. These two cannot keep a lid on it. Gosh. But yeah, Felicity is now interacting with her dad for the first time since the pre-med reveal.
And this is where I was suspicious. Mm-hmm. I wrote down, her dad's not being a total jerk. What's going on?
Yeah.
Are they using reverse psychology? Okay. Apparently not. But he's being like a decent person. He's like, glad you're happy. The reason I thought about reverse psychology was he's now inviting David to come out to Palo Alto.
Oh my goodness. What? This is so intrusive. Folks, even if you have, even if I can't. I'm trying to imagine the scenario where that's appropriate. And it's definitely not this one. There are some, I suppose. But
are there?
I mean,
after a month?
Not after a month.
No.
Yeah, I don't.
Not before your daughter says it's okay.
Yes. They have not had enough time to build a separate relationship here. No separate relationship has been condoned by Felicity because she didn't even know any of this was going to happen. And it is certainly not their place to Felicity's own relationship with she has at times chosen not to go back to Palo Alto for a holiday. It's happened. And in fact, it's happening right now.
Yeah.
And it's and also now if you think about this, and I'm just thinking about this myself, I'm working through it. If you think about this from the standpoint of Felicity's parents are having some trouble, they're trying to lock Felicity in to being in Palo Alto for Christmas by making David there.
That would make sense.
Maybe that's part of it. So
okay, now it's just desperate, but it's also just so wrong and inconsiderate.
It's not okay. It's really wrong. I think with this new light that I've added by sharing what is a spoiler for the future, I do think it's interesting to see how this episode might have more context to it or more layers to it, if you know that.
Yeah.
Because you don't get the privilege of knowing that information on a first watch of this. And it's like the one episode where it's like, oh, Well, maybe this is why they're doing this really inappropriate thing. You know, it changes the motivation and the necessity, but it doesn't change.
The responsibility of you
Yeah.
being the parents.
And what a terrible position every single thing they're doing here puts Felicity in.
Well, and the other reason I thought it might be reverse psychology was because then her dad goes over and starts bonding with Elena, like about pre-med right in front of his daughter. I don't know. It seemed like he was trying to make Felicity jealous.
Maybe he was. I mean, the thing is, like, on the one hand, maybe he really does get it. Oh, I kind of knew that it was headed in a place of you weren't really into that. Maybe he's just going to a person he can connect with about the thing he cares about. Or knowing that he has to be on his best behavior, this is a way to stick it to her without doing that, like without sticking it to her. Because she's there to hear this conversation. She's there to see him connecting with Elena over this topic. So I don't know which it is, or if it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to bond with or talk to the people in the room about something, and
Yeah. And, he
they
would
have
have a
this in
lot in
common.
common from that standpoint with Elena. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what's he gonna like? If he doesn't, I don't know. Like, Professor Sherman is more his peer in terms of age, but she's all about the arts.
Well, so's his daughter now.
Yeah. So, like, how
Ask a question.
is he able to connect on that?
Not if he doesn't try.
Yeah, he's not asking her any questions about her chosen path. He's just saying, "Yep, you've released yourself from the one you were on."
Yeah,
Agreed.
but I guess if he's so, I don't know, if he's so desperate as to like recruit David to lock her down for Christmas, I mean, that's pretty. He's pretty out there. He's got a lot
Could
going
be,
on.
right? I mean, I think that's a wild interpretation, but it's not out of the realm of
It's not.
possibility that he's
It's
thinking,
definitely
like,
not.
how do I make sure? Especially because she didn't come home for Thanksgiving for the
And it
second year in a
seems to
row.
be because of this guy,
Yeah,
right?
but she didn't go home for Thanksgiving last year either. And so it's like,
A
um,
lot of kids don't go home for Thanksgiving if it's East Coast to West Coast.
yeah, it's just such a short break you know, for that
Yeah.
holiday. But I mean, he can't be sure that she was going to come back. So
Mm-mm.
could be. It's within the realm of possibility that he's just like pulling out all the stops to make sure she's locked in. But
That's also super controlling, but
well, that is his speed. We've seen it,
yeah.
in so many ways before. I mean, everything about. I feel for Felicity in this episode because so many people are controlling her and her how she spends her time, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
She's
Mm.
not doing anything to command agency for herself. She's again, I think that she's thinking the
She's
lesser of
drinking.
two evils is just writing this thing out. But that's
Yeah.
also a problem because then you end up in a situation where you now set precedent for stuff like this. So if this relationship were to continue and, also with her parents, that relationship certainly is continuing. So like, now they haven't gotten her 2 cents about like how she feels about them just turning up.
Yeah. No, she's I think she's definitely going a bit into flight mode. We've got Noel. He's drunk in his room, and Felicity is she's on her way, and just needs a break. She just needs out of this room for a minute, and so she goes into Noel's room, which I don't understand. Why are you not in Elena's room?
Mm-hmm.
Why go to Noel's room?
It was the closest room. She doesn't seem to be aware that Noel was in that room already because he was trying to lie down and make the room stop spinning.
Which doesn't help, by the way. You're much
Mm-hmm.
better sitting up.
Yeah, but Felicity has chosen to go into that room to hide.
Hmm.
And they have a conversation. They start reminiscing about Thanksgiving last year. Remember Thanksgiving last year?
Javier and his turkey.
Exploding potatoes. Yeah. Remember when
Yeah.
Hannah was there? And it was so no. So they're getting closer together, and they kiss.
They do. And it's still, that kiss had more passion than all the ones with David so far. Just, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. And then the thing is, they're kissing, and Professor Sherman walks in.
I mean, you want to talk about passionate. This woman, oh, she's got some anger. She's got some anger. Her face. I mean, I'd be scared.
Yeah. She's got a seething but simmering anger. If that's a thing.
I mean,
she's
it
not saying a word, but
feels,
you know.
It feels close to an explosion.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like even if it's like a controlled explosion. Like I feel like she had strong feelings about what she was seeing.
Yeah. And Noel and Felicity, we let the camera linger on them.
Yeah.
Just to experience what their reaction is to being interrupted by Professor Sherman for this. Felicity is just in like sort of an open mouthed stare, sort of horror, like, how do I take all this back?
Yeah, she's frozen.
She's frozen. Noel looks at her, sees her like that, and goes, that was Professor Sherman.
Yeah, I think it's a question from him. He's like, was that Professor Sherman? And Noel does this, and I always find it funny. But when he's playing drunk, he whispers and he like over whispers.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I just find the whole thing funny.
So. Yeah, I think that's what we were meant to find it. And then we're going to get from that to like real awkward real fast, because now we just can resume with just going to the dinner table. And dinner's starting. Barbara toasts. Nice to have friends all together. Noel kind of leans in real quiet to Felicity to be like, sorry, I don't know what happened. We should talk about that later. Then it gets really awkward. Felicity's dad makes a comment about Felicity getting special treatment in art class, which is certainly not happening now. And Professor Sherman just deadpans like, no special treatment. Ouch. Yeah.
And David's like, I'm working on it, you know. I still think I'm in a relationship that hasn't been ruined. Yeah.
This is where it just all piles on. Professor Sherman stands up, leans in, walks over to Felicity, says, let's talk.
Yeah.
Felicity's like, nope. Not happening.
Very scared of you at this moment.
Yeah. But Professor Sherman pulls Felicity back into the same bedroom that she just caught the act. And she reads Felicity the riot act. She's like, you need to tell David about Noel.
You and Noel.
But you and Noel.
And she is not very good at details because she does not shut the door. And unfortunately, poor David here, again, worst night ever, just walks right in.
Well, he's probably a little concerned that his mother has pulled his girlfriend aside as they were starting dinner. Definitely not appropriate. There was a vibe, and he goes to find out what was happening.
Yeah. And, you know, he's not the only one.
So just as David hears, he's like, wait, you and Noel? And then Meghan, who's coming in to get her Lactaid, she's like, oh, you kissed Noel again?
Yep. Meghan. And That's not the only thing, then her parents, Felicity's parents come, and it's really everyone's crowded around the door at this point, and Felicity's dad is trying to figure out what's going on, and Meghan says, Felicity and Noel have been making out. And I mean, David is just freaking out at this point, trying to yell over everyone, saying, it's very casual. It's very casual.
And the parents are fighting each other. And
Yeah.
it's
about
very
to
casual.
throw down.
Yeah. It's totally casual.
And I don't know why. I think everyone leave? Yeah, I think everyone must have left after
so
that.
In the middle of everybody like picking on each other, Elena says to Noel, "You're supposed to be co-hosting, not going off kissing people."
Yeah. Yeah, just everyone is fighting. And, I mean, Meghan is creating chaos, but I mean, if nobody's going to eat the dinner, how is she going to get the bones that she was promised earlier?
Yeah, well.
So, I mean, she's lost something in this too.
Yeah, she's got stakes.
Yeah.
So, people finally clear this room, I guess, to go back to eating an awkward dinner while David and Felicity talk it out. And
oh no, come on, they're all listening.
They're all listening
at the door.
Yeah, and this is just sad for David. This conversation. It's like, I thought you said you were over Noel. Felicity, like, it's really not about Noel, to be honest.
And she's got the same like downward, can't meet your eye guilt face as Ben. You see a lot of these guilt faces in this episode, as we'll get to later.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to tell you, I mean, obviously David is hurt, but he's being really mature about it. And what I wrote was, God, he's even boring during a breakup. I mean, this guy.
Poor David. We have David feedback to share today, but I'm going to wait on that for a minute.
I just can't with this guy. I'm like, because earlier when they were cooking the pumpkin pie, the first thing I wrote down was cooking. And the second thing I wrote down was, I'm bored. I mean, I don't know what it is about this guy. He just...
Remember, I don't know if listeners, if you've had this, but does anybody here have a friend who, like, when you get fortune cookies, when you have Chinese food, and they're like, you have to read your fortune, and after whatever it says, you have to say in bed, and like, then everybody goes around, they say their fortune, and they add in bed to it after. So are you saying that with David, that like everything that you could say about him is like followed by boringly, or like in a boring way? Like,
no, I'm saying David would be brings boring in a cage
for Lucky the dog, well, in a boring way.
Yeah. No, that is how I feel. I don't know. Maybe it's just, he's so mature, and I'm like, I don't want that. I mean, they're breaking up. There's no speech.
There's good for a relationship in real human life.
Yeah.
But not on a TV show.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think she's very mature about it too.
I agree. I think she has enough self-awareness here to, I mean, there's nothing she's going to say here that David's going to love, but that, for her to be able to say, look, it really isn't about Noel. It's about how serious we're getting. Like, you, the other day, you said, and he's like, I said love, and it freaked you out. She's like, look, I think I was clear that I was looking for like no expectations, no pressure, and I meant that.
And I like did that happen? Like, for me, the whole thing about no pressure and expectations was solely around sex. That is the
the first episode where we meet him, she says, you were my B-list person. And then he says, I'd be honored to be your B-list person. She's like, great. She was right from the very beginning. Right. He knows. He labeled himself her B-list person, knowing what that meant. And that was a month ago. So it's like, I think in so many different points, We haven't even had
Yeah.
that many episodes with him, but in more than one point, it was like, this is just kind of, carefree. I like that she says here, though, she really crystallizes it. And she says, no matter how much I like you, I need to not be in a serious relationship right now.
Yeah. I wrote that down too. Yeah.
And I
And
think
she's
that's
very clear.
really fair to him because whether he should be or not, he obviously is looking for something he can totally throw himself into.
Hmm. And I mean, here he does say that, I wish you told me sooner, I made a fool of myself, but she doesn't back down. She's like, look, I didn't know how you felt until, you like said you loved me. She was like, I didn't know
And
until
honestly,
now.
for that conversation to come up on the back of her parents being there and all these plans being formed, there was really not a good time up until this point for her to have this conversation.
And it's not great now, but apparently it's happening
It's
because
happening,
Meghan.
whether I like it or not. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this wasn't the time you'd pick, but you wouldn't pick any time while her parents were here, and you wouldn't pick any time during Thanksgiving dinner when everybody's parents were involved. And,
Yeah.
there just wasn't a sooner point for her to be like, whoa, slow your roll, buddy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's good that they had this conversation. That's pretty much the end of David. Um,
Yay.
yeah. Uh, we'll see a little fallout with Professor Sherman in maybe the next episode.
So
But
does this mean, well, I know you can't answer it, but what I'm wondering is, does this mean that Noel and Felicity are going to give it another shot? I mean, they still haven't dealt with Felicity and Ben really. And like, them coming back together and being friends again. I mean, we hardly ever see them around each other.
season 2 is pretty messy up until the end of season 2.
Okay. That's all right. I mean, I like a messy season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Works for me.
I think, and they're going to give you a lot of, I have a feeling that there's going to be more than one of you being like, not more than one of you. There's only one fish. There's going to be more than one situation where you're like, wait, what are they leaving this here? They're putting a pin here in this. So I think you're going to get a bit of that before you feel any sort of resolution on anything
All right.
with Felicity, really.
That's okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But then we have to go back to a scene with Felicity and her mother and father that I now have a completely different interpretation of.
Mm-hmm.
Or, they're being supportive and nice, and I said I just don't trust them.
They're all walking in the snow through the
Mm-hmm.
streets and kind of debriefing. Well, they're sort of talking about the drapes, and then Felicity's like, come on, guys. You can say what you're thinking.
Yeah. But they're being
Yeah.
really nice about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't trust them. And now I know why they're being on their best behavior. And I think it's her mother who says, it's so nice to be part of your life again, which is a very weird thing to say, given that she spent the entire summer there. So it's probably only been, like, if she was home for summer for 3 months and it's only been like 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she's got
A
all
little
this stuff going on
melodramatic.
back at college that her parents, they don't really know. They haven't seen her operating in that environment as herself. So, I mean, I get the point of it. And then her mom makes a point to ask, like, what's going to happen with you and Noel? Who's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
No clue.
not going to tell us.
And then her
And they had a
parents go
nice,
off and
yeah, and they had a nice, pretty song. We both thought it was a pretty song. I don't know what the name of it was, but I like the song. I'm sure there's probably a better one, and we'll get it from Felicity Restoration Project if we don't already have it. But I thought this was a good one. It's
a
just
lot of times I'm so used to the DVD music that a lot of times I'm perfectly fine with the DVD music. That's like all of the watches, and all of the rewatches I've done, and for some episodes, maybe the first time I ever saw those episodes was with DVD. So I don't really know much different. There are certain things that I think come off better with the original music choice. And I think there were certain artists that were like part of the vibe, like Sarah McLachlan or maybe like some Peter Gabriel stuff. But I don't know. A lot of times I really enjoy the DVD songs. The problem with enjoying the DVD songs is that it can be difficult to find out what they are when you like them.
Yeah.
Which is a problem that I and others have had where you're like looking up lyrics and it's like they specifically got an artist who wasn't very well known so that they wouldn't be sued. But it causes a nightmare for some of us. Well, in other nightmares, shall we get to Ben and Maggie?
Oh yes. Well, first it's Ben and Javier, right? Isn't that the first scene?
Yeah, that's the first time they have to set up what the problem is going to be in this episode for Ben. So Javier giving Ben only partial information, well, not realizing that he needs to give Ben more information about this, asks Ben to work a party for Thanksgiving. And Ben is kind of like, I was kind of just going to chill out and hang. It's Thanksgiving, Javier. Javier's like, well, I'll pay you double over the table in cash. Ben's like, under the table. But if that's the deal, I'll also bring friends.
Yes.
Javier's like, you're amazing. You're the best.
Yeah. And it's a charity event.
It's a charity event. That's all Ben knows when he says yes to this. But then, so the next time we see them, Julie and Sean are now at Dean and DeLuca. Javier, I guess, is like getting paperwork done or getting them oriented as much as he can before the event's going to take place. Sean makes him agree to serve smoothies at the event exclusively, or I don't know, I don't know what that meant.
I mean, at least what he wanted in the additional paperwork was that there is some smoothies on every platter.
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing else to dip your shrimp in.
Yeah.
But Javier went with the smoothies.
Anything to get this guy to work for him.
Yeah. But here first we had Julie saying that she wanted to host Thanksgiving and Sean kind of chiming in that he's gonna cook. Right? And then we get to this part where they're with Javier, and I was wondering, I was like, what is Sean doing here? Like, he has money, I mean, at least enough to keep him going. Why would he be a cater waiter? And then the smoothies, and I was like, oh, right, marketing.
It's his big opportunity to get smoothies in front of some possible investors. I don't know. I mean, charity fundraiser, maybe some donors in the room.
Well, I think investors, hopefully.
Yeah. Donors for the charity that could have money that they could become investors.
They could become investors.
But so then we get the real rub here. They've waited all this time to let us know whose event this is. And now Maggie's going to show up at Dean and DeLuca to talk business with Javier. And Ben finds out this is Maggie's event.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's not happy about it.
No. In fact, next time we see him, he's storming into Maggie's catering business, angry. You can't have. What are you doing having this event at Dean and DeLuca where I work?
Yeah, move your party. Move your party.
And
it's like, look, I didn't want the party here. Like, my husband, he had the same party last year, and it was here. You just didn't know him or me then.
Yeah.
And Ben is like, look, I met your husband. He seems really nice. Kind of seems like this is why he's not calling her.
Yeah, Maggie's like, oh, so this is why you aren't calling me. She kind of sweet talks him here. It's like, well, first
Oh,
of all, I think she got a little stung by the fact that he was like, your husband seems nice.
yeah.
She's like, ouch. Um, and she kind of, by the end of the scene, Maggie's kind of like, I mean, the reality is she's holding this event, Dean and DeLuca, regardless. Ben's working this event regardless. And it's just sort of like a conversation for another day, I guess. But they leave on the best possible terms they could have. Sort
Well,
of like,
she, she is definitely like being flirty and trying to pull him back in
yeah.
and also not giving him any explanation
And he's
of,
not pulling away and he's not drawing in. It's just like, I feel like this is sort of just kicking the can down the road for, if they're going to be resuming or stopping, I think that's another conversation for another day. And they're just sort of like, we're both going to be at this party. They're sweet. She's sweet talking him enough that there's room for a conversation down the road. But some
no,
people don't want to have a conversation like this before a big function.
true, like the caterer.
Mm-hmm.
But she also had promised him up front, I'm not gonna, bore you with the difficulties of my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this is gonna be.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yes, but then Maggie's husband shows up at Dean and DeLuca, right? So I think in that context, the idea was that Ben would not have to deal with the idea of the husband, but there's the husband showing up at Dean and DeLuca and relevant parties. Like, it just seems like the husband's really becoming a part of his world now, whether he likes it or not, and he doesn't.
no, he does not. He's got the guilty face on.
He
And
tells
then,
her he can't do this, but when
no,
they end this conversation, you don't feel that he's said it's definitively done.
yeah.
um I feel like there's room here for him to sweet talk for her to sweet talk him, but you know nothing's really confirmed here except that they're all going to be at this event.
Which they are.
Yeah.
They
and
all
then
go to the event.
and then we cut to the the start of the event, or like getting things set up for the event, and Julie and Sean are whispering, there's so much food here. Are we gonna Who's gonna take home all this food?
Yeah, there's going to be too much. We should probably take some home, which, given what they ended up eating, probably would have been a good idea.
Yeah. But Ben sees them whispering and he's like, oh, my friends are worried about the situation. He
Yeah.
plows in and he's like, guys, it's going to be fine.
I know what you're talking about. It's like, really? Did you line your pockets with like plastic bags too?
He's like, oh, no, that's not what I meant.
No.
But then Ben has to kind of fess up as to why he just completely overreacted in a conversation that had only to do with leftovers. And he's like, okay, so here's the deal. That guy is Maggie's husband. And what was his name, Fish?
Okay, I have an award here to give,
Oh,
and it's for Melissa,
for me?
and the award is for winning. Melissa wins trivia. His name is Charlie, which is exactly what Melissa said it was. So
Yep.
this is a permanent award that Melissa will always have.
This one was for all the prizes.
Yes. Every time she has ever lost trivia ever are now negated and turned into a
And
win.
every time in the future that somebody thinks I've lost trivia, I'm going to tell them, nope, I won.
That's right. And you can play them this audio clip.
Yes.
And, here I am right now presenting the award for winning at trivia to Melissa.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you. You know that you have seen a show a lot of times when you're not really sure what somebody's name is, but deep in your gut, you feel it's Charlie. And then turns out it's Charlie.
And it was Charlie.
Yep.
And Charlie is just gonna walk up behind Ben and kind of freak him out a little, and then say, "Oh, yeah, you're the kid who sold me the cake. Thanks,
Mm-hmm.
man. She really liked it." He has no idea. He is not threatened by this boy, and
Yeah.
Ben is not feeling good. He is guilty and paranoid, and oh man, he's in a spot.
Yeah. He's just going to be tortured all night, is what's going to happen for Ben.
Pretty much.
Oh man. But the next thing we're going to see is an award I want to give.
Ooh, yeah.
When we get back to the Dean and DeLuca party, we are going to see Sean getting some random party goer to taste the smoothies.
Unsuspecting, charitable person.
This guy is my favorite. So he does what he's told. He tries the smoothies. He gets a look on his face
shrimp.
like there's a problem here.
Yeah.
Julie comes running in from the side and hands the guy a glass of water, which she's probably been doing the entire night. And he looks at her with a face, eyes full of gratitude. Like you can see him tearing up a little bit. Is it from the smoothies or is it from the gratitude itself? I don't know. And he chokes the words, "thank you." Yeah. He chokes it in a great turn of acting.
Yeah.
I'm going to say best person who chokes on the whole series, not just this episode.
Wow. That's an honor. I mean,
it was incredible.
It was. I was more looking at the smoothies itself.
Yeah.
And noticing it was more orange and wondering, how did that happen? Was it maybe zest of an orange or more likely tang?
Zestrika. More paprika, more zest. Yeah. Hard to say. I couldn't notice. I know that you commented on the color, but I was looking at this guy's face because I was like, I know this guy is going to do a great job here. And sure enough, his choking the words "thank you" was like the finest moment of acting in this episode. Maybe, I don't know. No, that's an exaggeration, but it was really good.
It was the finest moment of choking acting.
It was the finest moment of choking acting, and up there in other moments of acting.
Yeah, it's the finest moment of acting, subcategory choking.
Or anything smoothies related, maybe I'd even go as far as to say.
Yeah, because I mean, otherwise it was just Sean holding the tray, going, "What, you didn't like it?" As the guy runs away.
Yeah, he's gone. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, and we get another shot of Maggie's husband being a nice guy, giving a nice speech for the nice Leroy Street shelter. Would you all
raise twice as much?
Yeah. Just,
would
good you all please do this? Just make it happen. He's just being a nice guy.
And another shot of Ben just feeling like crap.
Yeah, that's Ben's job tonight, serving and feeling like crud. So Javier, who still has not picked up on any of this, even though, well, I don't know. He hasn't picked up on any of this, or he's pretending he hasn't. And he just says, "Ben, go get more dumplings. They're a big hit. We need more dumplings. Go to the back."
More dumplings.
Ben goes to the back for more dumplings, and who follows him? Maggie.
Yeah. But not, for what you think.
Not because she loves the dumplings and wants more right away. Which is what I thought. Yeah. She's like, "Hey, do you have any giant framed peppermints here?"
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Maggie. Yes. So once he explains to her that there are in fact no peppermints and never have been, any, and that the dumplings need a minute to cool, he says, dude, your husband's right there. Okay, he doesn't say dude, but he does say your husband's right there. And she's like, what? I'm just here to say hi to your penis. He's
She says
uncomfortable.
that she's so toying with him. She's like,
Yes.
I'm not gonna do anything here. Like, I'm not gonna jump you. But then she's
Well,
very clearly seducing him for the
yep.
rest of the scene.
Totally aggressive. Says she's not going to like throw him on the floor. Ben is super uncomfortable. Super
And I have
uncomfortable.
to say that this is a moment when, what do I even want to say about this? Maggie has seemed so in control, even though she's been doing this bad thing, like having an affair. She's been decisive and she's been in control. And this felt different. This felt sloppy and desperate out of an emotional reaction. Like she's being petulant, like she
Kind of petulant, at least for me, I don't know that petulant is the right term. She's being emotional,
yeah.
definitely. We have not seen, you know, Ben and her husband in the same place with her and the dynamics between all three of them playing out.
Yeah.
And now, they've been married 3 years. Who knows how long they've dated?
Yeah.
She does have a relationship with this man, her husband, and it definitely humanizes her, I think.
I think so too, because I don't even know if I think that it's that she's like having this experience because of the fact that her husband and Ben are in the room. They give us these lingering shots of her face as she watches her husband close talking and leaning in and talking to these
Yeah,
beautiful women at the party. And I don't know how often she gets to see that. Like,
I often enough to know what's going on. I do think that's the reason she's acting like this,
mhm.
but it's the first time that we've got her husband, you know, basically showing that he's cheating and her with the person she's cheating with, Ben, in the same place. And so we get to see that, like all those emotions that she's
Yeah.
having seeing her husband, and then how she's interacting with Ben. And she's not cool and calm and put together. And she's,
She's agitated, I guess is a word that I
yeah,
would use here. And it's sloppy. It's
it
like,
is.
I know my husband's in the other room and I'm hurting and I'm here. And
Yeah.
like, she's not saying that to Ben, but the quality of what she's doing here feels very different to me than she has felt for the whole, like her whole appearance in the show to this point. And you know that this is escalating to a moment of pure desperation. And fortunately, in this moment, Julie walks in and specifically interrupts them. And she's like, you need to go back out. I think your husband's looking for you. And it's this very like little slap on the wrist moment.
Yeah. And I think it's very important that we have this scene before the next scene. So
Mm-hmm.
through this whole scene, we don't know, or I at least didn't have any suspicion that her husband was cheating on her.
And I think to this point have been trying to present us with this guy who's thinking of his wife and being a nice guy. We meet him the first time. He's being thoughtful, buying a cake with a frosted butterfly on it
Butterfly.
because it means something to her. And he
Hmm.
knows that she always uses this place. And so he's thinking of her. And then this party, like he's saying hello to the caterer. Like, who says hello to wait staff before an event?
Hmm.
Nobody ever in the history of the
Nobody.
universe. And then like that the nice toast that he gave that was like very humble. And wouldn't it be nice if you guys would donate, um let's do some good work for the Leroy Street shelter, and then to see this turn, it's like,
Yeah.
he's one of those charismatic guys with a seedy underbelly.
Yeah. Julie is in the next scene. Julie is clear. she doesn't really approve, but she's at least willing to put it in a question. She just looks at Ben and says, "Is she worth it?"
Mm.
And then we just see Ben watching Charlie talk to these women.
And Ben's not sure.
And he's not sure. He's like, because at first, remember when he first was trying to justify this, he was like, "Oh, I shouldn't break up a marriage, but they must not be that happy. So, like, so what?" And so now I kind of wonder, is this the new justification, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, oh, well, he's cheating too? Well, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that their next conversation is going to be, "So are you leaving him?" I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like if he's cheating and you're cheating and I'm over here, like what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
We're never going to get to really find that out, but I do think
Ah,
that
no.
the next scene that we see with Maggie and Ben, she's staring out the window. He comes up trying to be sort of, it's like every spy movie where it's like, oh, your handler and you're looking at a magazine rack, pretending like you're both looking at magazines, but actually you're talking to each other. Felt kind of like that. They're both looking out the same window and having this conversation. And he's like, "Are you
Yeah.
okay?" She's not. He's like, "Well,
Mhm.
do you ever want to get coffee and talk about it?" And I was like, Benjamin.
I know. He seems like ready to take on the role of just like a supportive friend at this point, you
Yeah.
know? That he's had enough,
Sweet, sweet
like,
Benjamin.
yeah, and he does not get the same care in return.
No, this was brutal. This was absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Charlie comes up behind him. She's like, "Oh, I have somebody I want to introduce you to," being good old Charlie. And Maggie's like, "Well, I have somebody I want to introduce you to too. This is Ben. I've been cheating on you with him." It's like, oh my God. When did we
And
go
then
full telenovela?
yeah, and then she pulls, she pulls an Elena at this point and just leaves and leaves the two of them there. And so, I
Awkward.
mean, yeah, Ben does his, guilty look down look again.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy doesn't deck him. So, kind of assuming she's right.
And
Um,
yeah, I don't even know. We don't know if my presumption watching the scene is that Maggie has never made it clear she knows he's having an affair.
yeah,
This is the
well,
first time that
probably
that reveal has
multiple.
hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that probably saves Ben in this situation. Kudos to Ben for this not ending up in some sort of a fist fight.
Well, I mean, he had no reason to throw a punch.
Yeah.
So if the other guy wasn't going to do it, why would he?
I guess everybody in that situation is feeling as guilty as the other, um, in a way, because Maggie had that reveal.
Doesn't necessarily mean her husband wouldn't, you know.
But he is in the middle of a charity event that he's hosting, and he's got this nice guy persona. So disrupting that in the middle of a fundraiser for Leroy Street Shelter by
I don't know.
decking a caterer
No.
is probably not the look he's going for. And I will say, this is pretty much like significant others all exit here.
Yeah.
like we've seen everything we're going to see from a couple significant others. um
So this is
so
the end of the road for Terry Polo.
pretty much, and her husband.
Mm.
They do make it a point, though, at this moment, right after this part of the scene, to pan back and show that Julie has seen this whole conversation where
Mhm.
Ben has now been outed, and like, yeah. So they just show us that Julie saw it, clocked it, and Julie and Sean are gonna compare notes.
Mhm.
Um, And then we leave the party, and the last scene that we have with them is back at the loft.
Mhm.
I thought this was a really nice scene.
I mean, it was very sweet, the three of them. We have Ben, we have Sean, we have Julie enjoying a little holiday tofurkey, which I have not tried it. I cannot, you know, I can't make any assumptions. I've heard it's not that great. I like
You
tofu.
immediately spotted, even just looking at the scene, you're like, that turkey looks weird.
Yeah, it did
And
not look like
then
a turkey.
and then the people eating it were like, this turkey tastes weird.
Yeah.
It's like, fish has clocked this.
Well,
Um,
I mean, it wasn't a turkey. I
mhm.
mean, it was very obviously not a turkey. Like, I don't know what these people thought they were eating, but it clearly was, it was not a turkey.
Fair enough.
But
Yeah.
Sean says, look, it's a tofurkey, and if you don't like it, we can make it better. We can
Slather it with
just,
smoothies.
yes. And both Ben and Julie are like, nope, loving it. Love the tofurkey without anything else. Doesn't need a thing. Perfect this way.
I love Julie's like, tofurkey is good as is.
Yep.
Which is like a line never been said by any human. And so it's just, I loved that little one liner they gave her there.
Yeah.
But they're in cheer up Ben mode. You really feel the camaraderie between them. It's a scene like this, and it's a scene like that, that scene after they did the roommate interviews where you get them doing their morning routine, making the cereal and
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah.
These are the scenes that you feel, it feels very lived in to me. Like they really had a bond on set that they brought to this, because you can feel I don't know, there's just like a layer of this that's more than reading the lines. For me watching it, but they really were there to just be supportive of Ben. Sean's like, he makes a comment like, it'll be okay. I know you loved her. She's like, what? No, this was just a fling. Ben's like, it was just a fling with Maggie. And they're like maybe it was, but
Okay.
Ben's not feeling good about life right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that Julie went to she's crazy.
Mm.
That's just, I don't know. I don't have a little problem with at least women saying that about other women.
Crazy is a really loaded word.
Yeah.
And I would like to think we can all be careful about using it. It's really not a word to be thrown around. Julie doesn't really have adult relationship experience or context to know to think about all the layers of what Maggie's going through, even though she made some really bad choices. They saw play out in front of them a pretty difficult relationship
Yeah.
where there was a lot of pain caused on both sides. So,
Well, Ben doesn't seem like he was fully invested in this. I mean, he says, my heart's not broken. It doesn't seem like he was in love with this woman. I mean, he had great sex with her.
Maggie seemed like his B-list person for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I like that we're like, oh, okay, just a fling. That's fine. Well, there's probably something you can learn from this. And then they just go
jokes.
for all the jokes.
They got jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't date a caterer.
Yeah, never date a caterer is my favorite one. I think Julie also said earlier, like, don't attend a party thrown by your girlfriend and her husband or something like that,
Yeah.
or never work a party attended by.
My favorite one was when a beautiful blonde comes in asking for a basket of muffins, just don't sell it to her.
Yeah. They had some good ones here, but never date a caterers are both of our top ones, I think, here.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
And he was Ben knew what they were doing. He's like, thanks, guys. Nice of you. So we've come away with some Aesop's Fables related lessons at the end.
Some little, life lessons. And then I don't know, it just occurred to me. It's the last thing I wrote down about this, whole story, the whole, at least this episode's story of sort of Ben and Sean and Julie. And I just wrote down, Sean, does he not have taste buds?
Hmm.
Because he's into smoothies, he's digging the tofurkey. Like, I kind of feel like he doesn't have taste buds.
What did the earlier iterations of smoothies taste like as he was working it out, you think?
I
Like a
think it
nightmare.
started probably with ketchup and mayonnaise. That's my guess.
Hmm.
That was the first iteration.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. All right. Well, there you have it. I just know kind of that last point we ended on. I'll turn that into a note from an optimist.
Ketchup and mayonnaise.
No, the that last scene that we had with the friends at the loft. I just, you know, sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we do things that we know are stupid. Sometimes we just things happen. Things happen. Sometimes bad days occur.
Mhm.
And it's nice when you can have the power of a good friend or a couple friends to lift you up. I think, sometimes we sit with those moments alone, but a lot of times a friend can do some heavy lifting and well, make you feel not alone in a situation or make you feel a little bit lighter about a situation that was a little too heavy. So I appreciate that we got a scene like that. And it does remind me of some of these scenes we see with them where it's like, these guys really do feel like they live together, the actors, and when they're putting this out and came across in this scene for me. I appreciated their camaraderie there.
Yeah, it definitely comes through as genuine and as like they care for each other, and you see it in the even the like little moments of touch between some characters. And I don't know, it's almost like there's just this feeling that they have around the table that they can all like sit in. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like everything from their body languages to the way they look at each other and the smiles. And I agree, I think
Yeah,
it's very nice.
it is nice. Well, Fish, is there anything in this episode that you wanted to censor?
Yes, and
Okay.
I think we have a couple good ones.
Okay. So we're going to
Um,
head into
yeah,
the What the Club Did They Say segment.
that was beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes. Um, so I'm gonna go with three of them.
ooh.
Yeah. And the first two really have Javier in them. Um, so Javier is starting out and he's trying to convince Ben to cater this party. And he says, okay, Benjamin, how would you like to make a lot of money? Well, relatively speaking for you, of course. And Ben says, what? You want to give me a. Javier says, no, I'm not stupid. So,
Wow.
I know.
Okay. Well, what a question that was.
Javier, Javier might or might not want to give Ben a clue. We don't know.
Ooh.
And then just really quickly, Javier, is just really excited when Ben and Julie and Sean finally show up to the
Mhm.
party. And he says, oh, thank God you are here. Okay, I just had two servers down on me. I know. He's having fun. Having
Wow.
fun. And now he's happy there's more people.
Mhm.
And then the last one is Felicity and Elena, like we talked about. They're in the store together, and Felicity, is saying, I'm just realizing how David has been feeling. She has just revealed that she is the Ben of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And she says to Elena, you're right. I have to him. I've got to him right away. And Elena says, listen, you cannot David tonight. Not during Thanksgiving at my apartment where I'm hosting it for you, David, your parents, and his mother. Promise me you won't do it tonight.
Definitely don't David in that situation.
Don't David then. Or
No.
really any other time, because frankly, he's gone. He has no more. So there we go. We have three
Those were solid gold.
Decent ones. This was a good episode for the unnecessary gloving.
I would say so. Well, that was the What the Glove Did They Say segment. And my goodness, wild. Well, let's see.
We have our favorite segment coming up.
After you listen to this tape, you have to erase it.
Yep.
We have a couple different sort of themed responses that I want to get to, and I'm just not sure which order I'm going to save the David stuff for after. So let's do at one point we had asked on Instagram how you feel about Meghan and Felicity as RAs. Like, who's the better RA? And so we got a few different responses here, and I'm not sure when later would be a good time to bring it up, but given,
Meghan's slight forgetfulness.
Yeah, and everything we've seen up until this point, I think we've got a fair amount of evidence now. So let's get some different thoughts on this. Who's the better RA? Okay, I'm going to butcher this Instagram handle. I apologize in advance. At Anakekism. I don't know.
I wouldn't do any better.
You know who you are. We appreciate you. Says Noel. Obviously Felicity, but sometimes they were so annoying that Meghan put them in their place. Very funny. I think the two complemented each other for being so different. That's what I think. In a way, Meghan sometimes helped Felicity because Felicity was so good. She had so much empathy for others that sometimes it became annoying to serve them. And Meghan, with her style, would chase them away. And sometimes Felicity helped Meghan for the same reason. So I feel that they complemented each other, and that was great. And about Noel, I know, I was just kidding.
we all know that Noel was not the most fantastic RA.
Yeah. At himyf.posts.
That's how I met your
father. Felicity. She had so much empathy and really cared about the well-being of her advisees. Meghan would just dismiss them instead of listening. In this case, she left them dinnerless. Well, I added that last part myself. So they're at himyf.posts, stopped it at Meghan would just dismiss them instead of listening. Melissa added to it.
And leave them.
Okay.
Leave them starving.
Yes, left them starving. And then we got one other person who weighed in on this one. Another at Galinsky _1. I'm going diplomatic and saying they're a great team, but there are future moments which show them both to have terrible judgment in certain situations. Now, this was written a while ago, so we've seen a number of those already. There may be more. We'll see.
Well, we've got Meghan sleeping with Carl, which, was charity, and also we're not sure she was conscious the whole time since she wasn't sure what it was when she woke up.
Also stealing Carl's fridge, making him buy one and then stealing it.
Yeah, but
it's a mass return.
He doesn't know. It's a victimless crime. We don't care about Carl. And we do have Felicity kind of making things about herself, but I don't know. I don't think I've seen like, I don't know, like uh leaving the kids without a Thanksgiving dinner level bad RA-ness from Felicity yet. And so maybe there's future things that she does.
There might be. We'll see.
Yeah.
Gotta keep your eyes peeled for that. But all right, so we've got some different thoughts here. I think mostly Felicity was the answer here on the better RA, but sometimes you just need somebody to get to the point, and that would be Meghan. Meghan might have
Yeah.
also saved them for far too frequent meetings. I don't
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
some small favors there. Now we've got a series of thoughts on David. I'm going to
Oh.
try to do this in the right order. So at Victory Lighthouse says, David was meh. I was happy when it ended and the professor found Felicity and Noel kissing.
Ah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it certainly was awkward. But I can't disagree with the meh part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's certainly been my assessment since the first time we met him.
Mm-hmm. We also have at Heather M. O'Brien _. I agree with Fish that David isn't particularly inspiring, but I do think it's important for Felicity to have experience of a relationship that isn't Noel or Ben, or a one night stand like Eli. David is just so dull compared to the chemistry Felicity has with all the other characters, so he sort of feels just like a placeholder. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, my point is, Maggie was Ben's B-list person, and there still was a lot of chemistry there. So why couldn't they have found someone? I don't know, or written it differently.
Well, maybe their B-list people were like perfectly suited to fill what they were looking for. Like maybe Ben wanted the physical touch and the passion, and maybe Felicity was looking for somebody who could let her speak her thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't know if that lines up a little bit better for Felicity, I think, than for Ben, but I think it kind of works.
Well, no, because Ben also wanted something casual, like really casual, where there was
Yeah.
no commitment.
Okay.
And so I think that definitely works. And
So they
maybe
like got what they asked for in these
yeah.
particular packages.
And the lesson is maybe that's, maybe Felicity's missing the passion side and Ben is missing the commitment side.
Yeah. Okay, now we've got a series of two here that are in a similar vein. The first one's going to call you out and ask for feedback from you, but I'm going to roll through both of them because there's a pattern here. At MEM _0026. My biggest issue is their matching haircuts. Would love to hear more from Fish on her thoughts. I wish they found still an attractive guy, but not someone who could look like her brother. And then at Disneyland said, yes, they did have matching haircuts. Fish, your thoughts?
I mean, at this point, I think it's just repeating it for the third episode in a row. Yeah, they did have matching haircuts. And it was very disturbing. It was very disturbing, especially last episode. This one wasn't so bad, and the one before the last episode wasn't so bad.
Okay.
But it was getting lucky was rough.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
All right. Okay. At Queen Shalana 75, who always keeps it real, says, child, there was no reason for this mess.
I mean,
Full stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay. Okay, these two, I love that this happened. Love it, listeners. We had somebody comment and somebody comment in response. Okay, so at Aunt Mary 72 said, I think the show flounders a little after the depths. So that was the subway
Yeah,
one with
the one
Julie.
with the judge.
Yeah. So I think the show flounders a little after the depths through maybe the slump, which we haven't gotten to yet, where it picks up with a vengeance. I don't really see the attraction of David. I completely forgot about him. I see Melissa's point that he's probably necessary, but with Felicity, Ben, and Noel all growing in different directions, the show loses something for me. I get that not everyone can be an Eli, but David is D-list at best for me. And then at Galinsky underscore said, I actually disagree. Crash was definitely meh, but I think there's a sense of building up and then closing off. I read somewhere that the writers really struggled mid-season 2, and the slump title is sort of a reference to that, and even joked about what would happen if Felicity was really a spy all along, which was the spark for Alias. So we haven't gotten to the slump yet. I think that this episode makes a really strong case for picking up. I mean, it's very abrupt in its nature of like sweeping some B-list people to the side in a way that's explosive on all fronts in a fun holiday themed episode. And if you were thinking that David was boring, you'd be really satisfied, I think, to see this, to know that there is a glaring and painful end.
Yeah, I was about to say, to see that he's no longer in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's that, right? So I think that I don't know if the slump is where I think it picks up, but I think I remember really enjoying most of season 2, and I think the fact that Fish, you're in my scores. We sort of we dropped down after the list, episode 2, but we've been like slowly inching our way back up.
Yeah, I really like the depths.
Mhm.
It was the list after the depths?
No, the depths was episode 4. So the list was the breakup episode with Ben. And then we had ancient history where there's sort of like Noel and Felicity getting back on the same page. And then the depths was Julie and Felicity starting to make some sort of amends. And then we have, David showing
relatively, up. Yeah, I think relatively speaking, all the ones before David showed up were just relatively better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So there's those thoughts. And then there's one more I'm going to throw in here because this is a totally different interpretation of when things get interesting. At Insta.Mickey says, hang in there, girls. 210 is coming. 210 is Great Expectations.
Oh.
And okay. I have a specific, distinct memory of watching that episode with you. There are a few episodes that I remember things that you said as we were talking about them or as we were watching them in college. And that's one of the episodes.
So you'll be able to tell me if I still feel the same, because last time you said this, I think you said I felt the same way.
Yeah.
So we'll see if I change.
It's hard for me to imagine that you're going to change how you feel about the thing that you said. But we'll see. And that is, yet another like sort of point of when somebody thinks it picks up, because the slump is episode 12 and that's episode 10 that person is citing. So, and I think those straddle Help for the Lovelorn, which God help us.
Yeah. So Melissa and I are going to have to switch titles for episode 11 apparently,
and Fish has no idea why, and I'm just here to say, listeners, I don't know how I'm going to do this, so listeners, if you have any feedback on Help for the Lovelorn season 2 episode 11, please send it in as far in advance as possible. There's a chance it's going to be like the shortest podcast we've ever done, or that it'll be long because I spend so much time complaining. But we're just going to see. Fish, we're going to need you then more than ever.
Well, I know, I think we're gonna have to switch roles. I mean, you're gonna have to take on what the glove and a rant, and I'm gonna have to take on note from an optimist, and we're just gonna, Freaky
That
Friday it.
actually would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, Freaky Friday it. What do we got?
It's perfect. I like your
It's happening.
plan. Listeners, you heard it here first. Because my gosh, I've just been sitting here like, how am I going to do this? Okay, that's that. Okay, we've organized it. Fish, I'll send you the contract later. um, for now, though, let's rate this episode. Did you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? What are you feeling?
I feel like, why don't you go first?
Okay. I rated this episode in the unit of pulled patellas.
Oh, wow, you didn't go with peppermints, huh?
Well, it wasn't specifically called out in the episode, although that was obviously a really important feature, a giant framed peppermint. So I gave this one 9.5 out of 10 pulled patellas. And basically where it got docked was that once again, Felicity talks to Sally. Sally's gone. I otherwise really enjoy this episode. I think that it is, especially since it feels like so many of us sense a lag after there's like some resolution from the main cast post Ben breakup. And if so many of us felt that pretty much when David enters the scene, it's like rebuilding and coming, slowly inching its way back. This is like this is an explosive episode for many reasons. Like, for more than one party, it's an explosive episode. And I think they're putting some resolution around some things. I think that there's a level of camaraderie among the Loft crew and like the Felicity, Noel, Elena group that you couldn't have even really imagined in episode 3 how they would get there. But they've worked their way back to it, and we've again sort of wiped the slate, I guess, to start again, but with repaired relationships. So there are more places they can go from here. And so I think there's, a lot to look forward to, but I like this one.
Okay. I think there were definitely some like laugh out loud moments, especially from Javier and Noel. And there was the whole, suspicion about her parents and trying to figure out what was going on there. But now it makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I mean, there was a kiss with Noel, and I don't know, there was no sex with Maggie and Ben. So just honestly, I kind of thought this one dragged for me.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And maybe it's partly because I was expecting, the holiday episode and Thanksgiving, and like I liked the one from last year, but we don't get that. I didn't get that holiday feeling from this one.
Well,
I think
you're not going to get a holiday feeling from Thanksgiving episodes for the show again, I think.
Okay.
They're going to deeply embed drama into it.
No. Well, I don't mind there being drama if they're all in the same room, but I think having them broken into these different parts and having like a charity party in the middle of it kind of made it not feel like a Thanksgiving episode for me, even though there was what looked like a very undercooked turkey at one point that Elena brought out of the oven. I don't know, it just didn't have any of the hallmarks of like Thanksgiving, except for the one scene when Noel was, setting the table in the apartment. And at that point, it just devolved into a discussion / fight about doily versus peppermint. So I don't know. Overall, I wasn't that impressed. I probably would skip this one. on like another rewatch. So yeah, but it still was funny. So I'll give it like a 5.5.
You're saying 5.5?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
that's so sad.
Yeah, I don't know. It might have been built up expectations.
Oh,
It might
darn
just
it. I
be,
shouldn't do that.
might be the fact that it starred David, who bored me at least twice on
Okay.
purpose. I could tell. Um, so
Well, one of the reasons that I was interested to see if there was payoff here for you was that, like, if you consider the show calls out, like, the show knows David's boring. The show set David up to be boring. David was boring. And then they make David exit still boring.
yeah, I
You
mean, they
know?
certainly did not change his character. But the problem with that is, regardless of the fact that it was intentional, it was still boring.
Yeah. I
Like, I
think,
don't know what to tell you. Like, if you
yeah.
want to make something boring, you can,
Yeah.
but it
And I
doesn't mean
think
I have to like it.
where I see value with David, okay, yeah, fine, he's boring, but Felicity changes.
Which is fine. Make it like, I don't know, make that the sub story and make the Ben and Maggie one the main story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least they had chemistry,
Yeah.
right? So, like,
Okay.
you know, it was just so much and so many episodes of it. Like, I could have wrapped up this, all right, Felicity gets it, growth, moving on, sprinkle it through a few episodes if you want, or have like one or two, but like max, I would say like 20 minutes David
Oh my
time.
gosh.
Like, and that might be too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get
Oh.
your point across.
Well, what a shame. I mean,
Um,
look,
I
there
can't
was
help
no
it.
listener feedback of people saying like David's the best, like I stand David. Justice for David. Like there's none of that. None of that. We heard zero people give that feedback. So you're
But
in
I
good
know that
company.
you think that he's very important for her growth, and I will give
I do.
him
I think that's
that.
the only real reason you need him. And I think that Felicity has more growth to do still in this season, well, across the whole series. But like, I think that she needs, she just needed to have a non-Ben, non-Noel relationship and to like get her head wrapped around like what it really means in a way that she didn't feel as invested in, to like understand the relationship idea from a different angle. I think that was helpful for her. Um, she's still somebody who takes things seriously, but she went into this and it like reframed her understanding of her past relationships and maybe her future ones. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But okay. Well, there you have it. 5.5 out of 10 glubs, 9.5 out of 10 pulled patellas. And
Largest
listeners,
difference?
there's a pretty big difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty huge.
That's,
But, you know,
that's a really big
I
difference.
really enjoy this episode. I think the comedic stuff with Noel is awesome, but I think it's underpinned with pain. Like, and I think that Scott Foley walks that line really well. I think Meghan is just stirring up trouble everywhere she goes, and that's fun. I like the support of Elena that we get here. I do look forward to when Elena gets more stuff of her own to do.
Mhm.
But I think I like this Elena, not the have sex or else Elena.
Agree with that.
And I love the dynamic between all the characters from the loft. And yeah, I don't know. I think I really like for me, there's a comfy dynamic, even though they've split them into two groups here. And yeah, that's my thoughts. But listeners, we want to get your thoughts. You've been so great
Absolutely.
about sharing your thoughts with us. We want more. We're greedy. Mm-hmm. So how would you do that, you may ask? Send us your feedback, maybe your Felicity fan art, anything that you want to share with us. Send it to the melissafish@gmail.com. Again, that's Melissa with one L, two S's, the melissafish@gmail.com. You can also find us and so many other really cool people on Instagram at Felicity Podcast. Also, if you're wondering, hey, if you're thinking like, wouldn't it be nice if when you drop a new podcast episode, I could be informed? You can. So just sign up for our newsletter on MailChimp, sent through MailChimp at the show notes here. So go wherever you're listening to this podcast, check for where there's writing about it, where we've described the episode, and you will see a link at the bottom of that. Also, ready for this, Fish? If you feel like helping other Felicity fans find this podcast.
Yay.
I did it, Fish. I did it.
You did it. Go
ahead, rate or review this podcast wherever you're listening to this podcast. Tell people what you think about Felicity, Optimist versus Cynic, because that means more people who are Felicity fans can potentially find this community and become your friend too.
We're all friends.
I can't believe it, Fish. I did it.
Well, this is actually at least the second, if not third time you've done it.
Yeah, but
I only forgot a couple times.
But you would think that there would then, like, once I remember, there would be some sort of a pattern, like I would then remember it forever. Nope, that hasn't happened. It's been sort of like tapes from Sally, sporadic at best.
You were definitely more often than tapes from Sally.
Yes, you've noticed that too. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what we're doing next time, Fish?
I don't.
It's an episode titled Portraits. What do you think is happening in portraits?
I mean, there's not many other definition of the word portrait. I'm going to go with it's back. It's got to be something back with Professor Sherman, and they probably have to draw some portraits.
Good guess.
I mean, I don't know what else it could be.
We're just gonna see how all of it plays out. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
I like it. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about for this episode, Fish?
Yeah, I really want to reiterate that Melissa's going to try to make this picture look like a peppermint by blowing it up really big and showing it to you. And you really have to get that sort of backward, like
I don't have to try to do anything.
Scene.
It's a peppermint.
Well, then don't blow it up. Show it how it really is.
Well, whether it's blown up or not, it's the same picture.
No, optical illusions change when you have them like at different depths.
But even
I wasn't
in
able
the smaller
to
version, I said that's a peppermint.
Right. But in the smaller version, I wasn't even able to see the peppermint until you blew it up.
Listeners, in addition to all the other feedback we asked you for.
You're going to do a post on this. You're doing a post on this.
Yeah, I'm going to need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just blow it up to be one big,
So I need to make a look at a tiny peppermint?
You have to. Well, I will have to figure it out because we have to agree. Otherwise, it will be a misleading post.
We'll have to figure that out because the post is smaller than the size of our
TV screen.
Yeah. But okay. Look, guys, I'm not saying that your answers to this will make or break our friendship. I'm just saying,
look,
that it's a peppermint and we all need to wrap our hands around that.
The problem is you can say peppermint. My thing doesn't even make any sense.
No, it doesn't. You're like,
I don't know.
Like a piece of fabric when it's wrinkled and it's red?
It is. It's like a framed doily or something. It's 3D. That's what it looks like.
I'm
telling you, it makes no more sense. Yeah, it makes no more sense than a peppermint. Don't pretend a peppermint makes more sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Red doily.
That's why I remarked on it to begin with. I was like, why is there a giant peppermint framed on their mantle?
And there wasn't. until you blew it up really big. And then you could see an optical illusion.
Until next time, Fish. Don't hook up with Ben while I'm gone.
Not peppermint.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.